So, last time, the island that you were on crashed into the volcano you were above. It stopped the portal. You just killed the big, massive, evil, bad, mind control, mind flare guy.
Emphasis on big.
I know.
And
He was so massive, all 2 feet from.
Yep, and then the flock of demons that were coming out the portal just kind of flocked off in the direction they were going anyway. And you find yourselves on this sort of cracked island. Hang on. Excuse me. This cracked island that has crashed into the volcano in the middle of this like barren landscape. There's not really much else around. You can see the red dwarven mountains, or the outline of them, peeking over the horizon to the south, in the direction of where the demons were flying. And you'll have, I mean, I guess you have a map of some sort to kind of roughly know where you're going. We hadn't really discussed that at any point. But you know Karak-Lak's off to the south, and somewhere on the end of those mountains. But the area around you is this kind of volcanic black sand. The harsh winds are kind of cutting like furrows into it, and it almost looks like a sort of shifting ocean surface. There's huge dunes of sand, spires of obsidian and volcanic rock, cooling pools of molten lava, and sporadically sort of like ruins of buildings or structures of some sort that kind of spread around the place. And all of this is kind of covered in a thick layer of ash, sort of pale grey, that's settled on it from when the volcano was like spouting up into the sky. And the whole place is going to be reeking of sulphur and noxious gases. But I think at this point you've been trekking for close to a week without really like stopping.
We stopped in the airship when we were traveling that far.
Until you crashed it. Yeah.
Yep. That was our big last rest.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can see across the expanse of the wasteland, you have a trek ahead of you to get to your final destination, Karak-Lak. And it's kind of a straight shot, you know, apart from the odd spire and ruins you have to go around. There's not much between you and it. I had described that this had been... You could see, like, images of other worlds and dimensions, probably, and creatures that were kind of going in and out of reality up until this island crashed and sort of closed the portal. And now there's still like that going on, but it's more sort of like little pockets of it going on. You can see kind of like little areas that are shimmering and shifty and like overlaid with each other. You can still see that big giant four-legged creature that makes the monstrous horn sound, and it's kind of like trundling off into the distance over the wasteland, although you know, it's kind of like going around in circles aimlessly, sort of looking for something that doesn't exist here. And you can probably guess that once you clamber down off of the island, there's going to be other creatures lurking in the shadows and behind the dunes, escaping from whatever little portals are around to their original realms. Drakan at this point, I think we described, had been feeling sort of like invigorated, strengthened, you know, larger than himself. How does he feel like after seeing the succubus being executed right in front of him by Rise? I mean, is that going to give him sort of flashbacks to some of the possible futures that he saw for himself?
I think he would be more stuck on the axe that Odin has still. He dies himself. Like, that might be like a side note, but not the most important thing on his mind.
Sure, so that's happening, but you're like more concentrating on the fact that this weapon's still being wielded. And you've probably seen like different visions where different members of the party are wielding it, and they are the ones coming at you or executing you with it. So you're well aware, as long as this weapon's in play, that's a very real possibility. That's how you're going to end up.
Right, so I think I'll be trying to wrap my head around that possibility and what I'm going to do about it. I'll probably be distracted more than anything.
Was there anything else from the end of the last time that I'm forgetting? I don't think so. Slew the succubus, slew the mind flayer, crash landed. Yeah, I think that was it. I don't think there was any artifacts or anything like that. Yeah, so you're here, and I guess you're still like on the island. It's crumbling, cracks all around, you know, just with the force of it crashing into the volcano. I imagine now it's still trying to like push itself downwards. It's still like cracking and crumbling, chunks are coming off. You have the ropes and the ladders and the chains anchored off the side of it. You could clamber down to the slopes of the volcano proper, and then work your way down to the ground level. Or if you're Salazar, you could just fly down on your shark.
I think we should all probably leave. Seems quite dangerous here. So Ricardo's just going to start walking off towards the edge and start climbing down the volcano side.
Should probably like stop the island ship from going down before we leave, so it doesn't like, I don't know, fall off the side of the mountain or something.
Isn't it stuck in the volcano though?
Yeah, but it's still pushing down, so eventually something's gonna give. Either it's gonna break or the side of the volcano's gonna break.
How do you plan on stopping it from going down?
Don't look at Durden. Isn't he the one who made it go down? Couldn't he stop it?
We can try and stop it, but the place was falling apart when we exited.
Still at the next though, aren't we? Like we didn't leave. We just went into the little temple to fight the thing. So we should still be right there by the controls.
No, the room started crumbling and we left.
Wait, yeah, you're on the top of the island, outside the temple part. But I mean, you could still like run back down those stairs inside the temple if you wanted.
No, man, I thought we were still inside. I didn't know we were outside on top.
No, that was one thing, because when it crash landed and things started to rumble and, you know, some of the caves started, or the roof of the cave started to fall in, I think you just went back up to the surface level.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think we all agreed to leave the temple.
Yeah, my bad. Never mind then.
But I mean, it's still within running distance if you wanted to run back in there, that's not difficult.
If it's falling apart, I ain't risking my life.
Salazar will follow Ricardo and just leap off the edge.
Just walk down it.
Yeah, Durden's going to take the slow and safe way as well.
Like hand over fist down the big chain.
Probably, yes.
So yeah, I mean, if everyone is descending, it's not nearly as far down as it was before you can hit the rocky slopes of the volcano. Taking care, obviously, to avoid the streams of lava that are still present. You can see them like hissing and cooling, steaming, but you know that's the surface of them. If you stuck your foot into one of these, that would be you, 1 foot less. And of course, the fumes from them are not exactly comfortable for organic beings either. I imagine Duradam, you know, the fumes stuff don't bother you, but you know, you can see that it's melted rock, so that's probably something you don't want to get involved with.
Yes, we'd rather not relate to that.
Yeah, so I mean, you like skitter and slide your way down the side of the volcano to sort of ground level, where things sort of even out. There's a rumbling above, and you can see the cracks and the splits in the side of the volcano mouth as the island above it like pressures down consistently, pushing that mass down on top of it. And you can tell at some point the things like Drakenton says, it's going to get, something has to give, and something's going to cave in one way or another, and you probably don't want to be too close to it when that happens. So once you are down on the ground, in amongst the black sand and the grey ash, where are you going? What are you doing?
Well, we can see Karak-Lak in the distance.
Yeah, so I mean, you can't see Karak-Lak itself, but you can see the points of the mountain range that it belongs to, just peeking over the horizon.
Well, as
The
soon as I
rise,
get I'll wait for everyone to get there.
yeah, as Rise sees everybody bruised, covered in wounds, he proposes that should we make a stop to heal up a little bit and rest.
Yeah, so you want to look for some kind of shelter.
Yeah, but of course, far away from here. And of course, if there are some creatures lurking in the nearby distance, it's better if we go further away.
You're right. We should go warn those creatures in case the volcano erupts.
There are creatures that do not belong here, my friend.
I know it's really dangerous here.
Imagine,
Go help them.
imagine Salazar, like a pterodactyl, comes shrieking out of a portal in the sky, kind of circles around confusedly in a panic, and you can understand it. You can hear how stressed it's become. You know, suddenly it's not in its natural environment, and then it like dives into another portal and like disappears from sight in midair.
These portals will be unstable for a little while. Yes. It's best we get as far away from here as possible. Quickly as possible, too.
Yeah, I mean, wading your way through the ash and the sand over the dunes, sliding down the other side, avoiding the spires, trying to steer clear of the shadows and the crevices, and some of the more obvious portals that are kind of opening up and closing. You can make your path, you know, a mile or so out from the volcano without much kind of hassle. But what kind of place are you looking for to rest up? There's lots of sort of blackened ruins. They're made of some kind of stone. They look like they've been scorched or like blasted with the heat. There's the craggy spires of rock and obsidian, like I said. Or there are like crevasses and caves that kind of opened up. Or would you want to just like shelter out in the open so you can see what's approaching you?
I think we
These
should
are
rest
ones-
out in the open, just in case so we know if the volcano's erupting, we can run away.
Yeah, maybe some higher ground with good overlooking would be ideal.
Yeah, because we don't want to be in a cave in case lava comes inside.
Well, if you want somewhere with a vantage point, so that would be up in the rocks. I mean, these rocks are very uneven, stacked up. Might be hard to kind of like get comfortable on them, but they would give you a good vantage point. They might be more difficult for trying to get down in a hurry as well. Although or there is the alternative, which is looking for a ruin that looks kind of stable and still has a bit of height to it, something that hasn't completely collapsed, and there will be, you know, ones that are kind of look semi-suitable for that purpose.
Maybe we should rest in some ruins, so we have a little bit of protection.
Yes, that will be good as well.
As you approach these ruins, you can see they're made of this kind of like polished granite, but it has been affected by like heat and carbon and ash all over it. But Duradum, you can recognise right away the architecture is again very similar to the temple you've just been in, the airship you saw previously, and indeed the city that you came across in the jungle before. It seems to be part of the same or a similar civilization.
How does the disrepair of this one compare to the island?
The what, sorry?
How does the state of disrepair compare to the one on the island? Was the one on the island mostly intact?
Yeah, the one I was mostly intact. This one, I mean, it might just because of age, it's older, although it doesn't look really worn as such. It's definitely been subjected to extreme forces from elements. You know, the walls are all like scorched and burnt looking. There's sort of melting going on in some of the corners of the rock itself. And there's crumbling on the walls and the stairways, and there's a little bit of effort to kind of get up to one of the higher levels. And the tower itself obviously used to be much taller than it is now. It's only going up a couple of floors. But it seems stable enough, and it's somewhere where you could make camp. Is that what you want to do?
Yeah, I think making camp here sounds fine. Some safety with walls, and then vantage point and things we can use.
Okay, if you're kind of taking the lead, Ricardo, do you want to roll 2d6 for me?
Oh, wonderful.
Do you have any
Of
way
course,
to
or
change it, or is this going to be the tone for
No,
this
it's
evening?
it's Ricardo. He's completely oblivious. Of course, he's not noticed any problems. He's like, "There's a ruin. This place looks fantastic. Let's go sleep here."
Right, okay, so everyone gets XP. He's going to his blackened ruin. Maybe Durandam's looking at the architecture. The rest of you maybe just like scouting around, making sure nothing's not following, making sure there's nothing approaching from the outside. Ricardo's job is to go in, you know, and check things out and make sure it's fine.
And of course, he doesn't notice anything wrong whatsoever. But this place is magnificent. It's perfect.
Yeah, he turns around and says to you, you know, it's perfectly rested, and you can all see this kind of like black squid thing that's attached to the wall behind him, kind of opening itself up wide with the tentacles spread out, and this big gaping pink mouth in the centre as it latches around him. You want to roll defense for me, Ricardo?
Okay.
Why
Pull
do we
my
keep
armor.
making camp inside caves and ruins?
Because it's safe.
Look, you let Ricardo take the lead. Why did you do that?
A few
So
lessons we seem to not be learning here. That's all.
So agile, armor, strength, anything bonuses?
Yeah, agile, athletic, agile or athletic. Your
Mhm.
not your strength, but your armor will definitely count.
So unless I'm stronger than the opponent, or my whip, no, because I'm not fighting it yet, so training won't matter. So yeah, so it's a 9.
You have training in your weapon though, don't you? You're magical
Yeah,
anyway,
fine.
aren't you? So you're gonna be more powerful.
Yeah, I'm magical resistant, magically talented.
Yeah, okay, so you're gonna take a pain or a stress.
I will take a pain.
Sure. This thing wraps these
I imagine I'm being.
very long, thin, kind of very slim kind of tentacles, but they've got lots of these little tiny barbs along the inside of them.
I imagine it's grabbed me around my waist and has now lifted me off the ground, so I've lost my footing.
Yes, you kind of like fall forward as it like jerks you backwards to pull you in towards this big gaping mouth. The rest you can see
Oh
there's
no,
this.
I imagine it's like lifted me up, it's picked me up to literally like throw me in its mouth.
Right, sure, okay.
It's carrying me in the air.
Yeah, the rest you can see it has this kind of like triangular split beak in the center that splits out 3 ways, and there's this a pair of twin sort of like lashing tongues that extend from the inside of that. So what would you all like to do?
Can I try to recognize what kind of creature it is?
Sure,
See
give
if
me
I know how to.
a clever roll, see if you recognise it. Sure, you recognise it as a creature. I don't know what the name for it would be, but it's something that used to live in the Underdark, but is believed to be extinct. Let's just...
Can I,
You can...
while it's distracted... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, on you go.
While it's distracted by Ricardo, I'm gonna step around him to get closer to its mouth.
I think...
Just,
Sorry, on you go. I keep interrupting you.
and just see if I can figure out where to touch it to make it drop him.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
a-
I think with that rule, you know exactly where these type of creatures are, like, vulnerable. And you know a great
Yes.
deal about their habits and such.
Salazar just steps around Ricardo and just pokes it on like a little indent under its mouth, and it just drops him.
Yeah, it almost seems to, like, giggle in a sort of gurgly, slurpy kind of way. I mean, its two tongues kind of, like, twist around themselves, and its mouth closes shut. And it starts, like, just, like, bending and wiping the floor with its tentacles instead of lashing out. And it kind of, like, pulls itself in. It goes all, like, slim and slender until it looks just like this long, thin black thing up against the wall.
Salazar just looks back at Ricardo and just like, "You're right. This is a great spot to rest."
What the heck? I was airborne for a second. I'm on the ground. What's going on here? Still haven't noticed the Ricardo still hasn't noticed the creature, like at all.
I think you'd have noticed if it picked you up. There's
Well,
oblivious,
you just,
and then
like,
they're just, like,
I'm-
retarded.
I imagine it's like Salazar did it so fast. He's like, he was up in the air for like a second and back down. He's like, what the hell's going on? It's just like, what? He's just confused. It's like, what the hell's... And he turns around, he sees the big black thing. Whoa, what is that? That was not there before.
At the top of this long, fleshy black thing, this big, wide, kind of yellow eye, like, opens. It has the appearance of, like, a large insect eye with all the different sort of angular hexagonal cuts on it.
Now that is very creepy. Maybe this place isn't as safe as I thought it was.
It's okay. I'm sure that Sherbert will protect us. He just reaches over and pets the monster on the wall.
I mean, is this the type of monster a shark would, like, happily eat?
If it wasn't inside.
Of course.
Yeah, I think we should leave and find another place to go rest.
I imagine the rest of you come in, Ricardo's standing there, and Salazar is, you know, stroking this weird looking thing with a giant yellow eyeball.
Dude, I'm just like hesitates reaching for the axe and like looking between Ricardo and the creature like, what's going on here?
This place is not as safe as I thought it would be, and I think we should leave.
We just kill it and then it's safe.
Yeah, that might be the issue. Pointing at Salazar.
I'm just reaching in my pack to get food for it.
You reach into your pack to get your rations, and your rations are covered with these disgusting finger-length worms that have got kind of like frilly, feathery, like the stubs of a, like frilly feathers along them, as if they're starting to grow them along the length of their bodies. But they're still very mucousy still, and they're all over your rations.
Oh look, they finally hatched. I'm gonna find some like rocks and gravel to put in my bag for them to eat.
Yes, just shake them off your rations because they're not interested in eating those at all. And they will indeed start like chowing down and burrowing through the rocks and gravel.
I mean, we can't kill it. I finally got to pet a monster without it trying to eat me.
You throw a ration
don't
to the
think-
creature and it snatches it out of there with its tentacle and shoves it in its mouth.
You see the problem? Dear friend Salazar has taken an interest in the beast. And it has already tried to eat me, I think.
It was just giving you a hug.
It isn't very mobile, is it? We could
Well, it
make
wasn't.
camp outside of its
It was. It wasn't there when I first looked at the wall. I'm sure, pretty sure.
Yeah. Wasn't there.
So it can move reliably quick, I believe.
Then yes, we should move on.
The creature just like slides down the wall beside Salazar, like coos up next to him, and makes this very uncomfortable, gurgling dolphin cry kind of sound.
Aw, can I keep it?
Do whatever you like, buddy. If it comes towards me, I'm killing it.
As long as you can assure it's not going to attack any of us, it should be fine.
It should be fine, as long as you don't smell like food or turn your back on it or get too close to its mouth. But then again, it's mostly mouth, so
What do you mean about smells like food?
you know,
Imagine all of us smell like food.
If it
alive.
eats people like if it eats creatures, we all gonna smell like food.
Imagine.
Them just kind of looks at himself. Yeah.
I'm not going to say. Imagine Duradum just kind of like leaning down and trying to smell himself.
We killing it or we making camp here?
Are you there, Phil? Do you know you're muted?
Yeah, I'm here.
Just checking. Yeah, so what do you want to do? Do you want any camp here? Do you want to take the beast with you? Do you want to leave it here? What?
I'm gonna take it with me.
If Salazar can confirm there's no others of these lurking about and that he can keep eyes on that one, we could camp here.
Are we just gonna light the fire and this entire room is just full of them?
There's only one way to find out.
Yeah, let's create a fire. See what we can see.
Sure. So you start up a fire, and like one by one, these big yellow eyes like open up all around the room in the rafters and in the corners of the structure.
Yeah, we're not
Okay.
staying here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not
Why
staying
don't-
here.
Really?
Why don't we move out slowly?
Them just kind of attempts to whisper to Salazar, like, drop it in case they think it's their kid. Maybe it is their kid.
It'll be fine. This one seems bigger than the others. The other one should be its kids.
So we're stealing its parent.
Oh, see, it wants to come with us. It's just like, is it still curling around my leg?
Oh, I mean, it's like curled around your leg, wrapped its tentacles around your chest, and is like holding on to you.
All right, let's go. Just walk out the door, just leaving all the rest of them on the walls.
Yeah, we'll leave. Find like the next best place.
Oh, just a bunch of rocks out in the middle of nowhere. That's fine. We don't need no ruins or cave.
I mean, if you still prefer ruins, you can find like So like two walls at an angle, right angle, that are still standing. It's not much in the way of shelter, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah, we'll take that.
Okay, so you'll be able to. I mean, you know, there's not much in the way of like firewood here, so someone got a torch or something like that.
Yeah, I've got
Nice.
adventuring gear.
Still have adventuring gear, so.
And one to start a fire.
Sure. So if you want to describe, you know, what you're doing, cooking a meal, you're having a chat, if you've got things to discuss, you need to take a watch, etc.
I think I'll be reading a book because I wanted to learn a spell when I leveled up, so I guess I'll be reading some kind of magic book or something.
Dark, what monster traits would this thing have?
An aversion to light,
I'm guessing tongue lash.
tongue lash, tentacle sting, and maybe like some sort of like heat sense, so it can detect like body heat.
I'm just gonna sit and chat with everyone merrily, offer some drink.
Two of them will happily accept the drink, even though he now knows he doesn't really need it. It's just like ingrained in him by now.
Oh,
Wait, you
Ricardo's gonna
have
be
a
very.
drink?
He doesn't have a mouth.
He just kind of like pours it into his like cracks. It's a bit weird.
I mean, Duradam as well. I mean, you just kind of discovered that you're not totally unique. There are other things like you.
Yeah,
How do you feel?
although he doesn't know if there are any that are sentient or not. Like he's still kind of unsure if those ones in the past, like in the last session, were under the Mind Flayer's control. Because you know, they seemed as intent on fighting him, and then when one died, he felt like he could detect something in it, and he's too slow to realize that the Mind Flayer couldn't control him. So he thinks it might have been under control. So that's a big example.
No, not at all.
Oh, how you feeling, my good friend? It's been a very harsh day for all of us, particularly you. Seeing those other yous in there.
I wonder, were they truly like me? They, well, they were bigger and they were different colors. He's just kind of confused. They couldn't even talk.
My guess, if I'd had to give one, is they are much older than you. Maybe made by the people who originally designed you. But maybe the dwarves found those designs and made one of their own. They made you. And that dwarven spark of inspiration is what gives you your true livelihood.
But then were they keys as well? Why would
No,
the
no, no.
dwarves make me a key when they seemed like guards?
Yes.
That's like the opposite of a key.
You are the key, but you're also the protector of the key.
Two
You are
of
the
them.
last line of defense.
Like he puts down his like big mug of ale and goes like, Ricardo, you're a genius. Like I'm a guard of myself.
Oh my god.
And he just like toasts to Ricardo and takes another big swig.
I am dying of laughter here.
Steerdam's too good.
I can't believe that's so good.
Meanwhile, Salazar is like trying to get this creature sort of off him and into a kind of comfortable position set up somewhere. But the thing is just determined to like wrap itself and clamber all over him.
Are you okay there, my friend? Talking to Salazar.
Fine. He just reaches over and starts cooing at the creature while trying to lure it off with food.
Yeah, I'll give him a cup of ale. So walk over to him to his one free hand. I'm assuming the other one's like tied up with the creature. Come, enjoy yourself this evening. There's a pat him on the like exposed bit that the tentacles are not wrapped around.
You see a little kind of like furry, feathery worm thing kind of like come out from his sleeves around his wrist and go back up the sleeve again.
Ricardo's just gonna laugh at that and move on. I was like, call me if you need any assistance. Be free to help.
Does it do anything as he turns his back and walks away?
The sherbet, you mean?
Yeah.
It's just been very clingy. Like, it doesn't want to let you go. I mean, I don't know if that's like a sign that something you need to be wary about. Because if it gets too attached to you, it could get very territorial.
So, Ricardo, you knew your god personally, didn't you?
Yes, I've met her many times. She has blessed me to her realm before.
How old is she?
Very
Would
old.
she, would she know anything about me or about the people who live in these ruins?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I'm not sure she'll know about you personally, but she will probably have some knowledge of this old civilization. She was there at the cradle of life in this world. One of the oldest and most blessed of gods.
I don't know if Rise would be slightly concerned of the fact that in this bleak, dark landscape with all this stuff around, Ricardo is, in fact, a beacon of light, just like this huge pinkish white light going straight up into the sky, being able to be seen for miles around.
Oh, yes, I
Ricardo's
haven't thought about that, but I was going to mention that Rise is definitely distant and worried with haunted eyes, and yeah, he's alone by himself smoking a pipe.
And Ricardo's going to walk up next to him, pat him on his shoulder. Like, it's been a tough time for you as too, my friend. You lost a brother not long ago.
I did.
Very hard.
It's been it's like never-ending cycle of madness happening with Malekith and everything what's happening, and we are getting closer to Karak-Lak, our final destination.
Yeah. But a great battle will take place there. We both know it.
In that moment, Rye's worried face even gets more worried.
I'm sure everything will be fine. Here, have some food. Salazar just reaches into his bag to get you a ration and just hands it to you with an arm wrapped in a tentacle.
The ration has all these little bluish violet, kind of dark coloured, furry, feathery worms sort of wriggling over it.
Oh, I'd rather not. Thank you.
One of
I
them,
have some of my own.
the little feather things start like flapping, and the thing kind of like takes to the air, almost like a dragonfly, for a few seconds before it falls to the ground.
What are these things, anyways?
They're they just hatched. They're the worms. Salazar just reaches down and picks it up and puts it back on the ration.
What kind of forms?
Did we ever really think of like a name for them, or are they just great worms?
I mean, the big one you know as the great worm, yeah.
So they should be the babies from the Great Worm.
So they'll eventually grow to be as big as the great one.
Well, how long
Fascinating.
does it take to grow?
Well, it should be an adult in about 100 years, and then probably a few thousand years until it's as big as that other one.
Oh, if we had so much time to aid us in a battle with Karak-Lak, that would be really good.
Well,
Unfortunately.
that's what magic's for, though, isn't it?
Hmm. Yeah,
Imagine
maybe.
age accelerate a worm.
Hmm.
We just
Fascinating idea.
toss them into hell, and then eventually they're fully grown, and we take them back.
While they're standing around having this conversation, Drac, what are you doing?
I'm staying as far away from Rise and Durden as I can while I read a book, because I'm trying to learn a spell.
Yeah, I mean, you find
Hello.
a kind of quiet corner away around the side of the building away from them. You notice that there's a couple of what must have been at one point bodies of some sort, and now they're just these kind of fossilized charcoal statues. You can almost see the features in their faces, as they must have been like enveloped in some sort of cloud of volcanic ash or something at the moment of their death. And that's where you choose to kind of sit down and make yourself comfortable.
Poor bastards. As long as it's not me.
I'm beginning to question how much of a humanity side you really have.
See,
Ricard-
the only thing keeping me in this party is my own determination to do good, because I think I've been accused of being evil by everybody here at least once.
Ricardo's never once accused you of being evil.
Yes, Ricardo's the only one. Ricardo and Durden, I think, are the only two. Well, I don't know, I can't remember. I thought one of you did at one point or another. So everyone has, except for Durden.
Two of them,
Yeah, Salazar did last time.
two of them called you unsociable. I think that's the only thing.
Yeah, Durden gets me, that's it. Everyone else is...
When I saw like you as a demon creature, I was like, you're a demon, and then when you said you were you, I'm like, you're my friend.
You didn't even know that was
Tried
me. You were like, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, I think, an earlier session, something had happened. Anyways.
So Ricardo's gonna come over and talk to you after he's done with his short conversations with
Completely oblivious to
Right.
the charcoal bodies, yeah.
Someone's like, why do you sit alone, my friend? We've done good today. Come and join us in the celebration.
Trying to learn a new spell. Need to concentrate.
See. I just want to tell you thank you for earlier. You quite possibly saved my life.
You seem to be handling it pretty well yourself.
I've lived for a very long time, my friend. Ah. But glad to see a nicer, kinder side to you. You shut yourself off a lot. Maybe it's about time you start opening up to others.
After we take care of Karak-Lak.
True. There's always more time. Always more time.
You know I might be dead, so wait to see.
Don't look at all of its fortunate sides, my friend. Try to look to the brighter future. There's always hope. Fate is not written in stone. There's always ways to change it, make things better.
As I hear Ricardo's speech, I interrupt. It's like I'm lashing out because I'm nervous, restless. I shout out, "No, Ricardo. Let's be real for a moment. We are in the middle of the wasteland, close to Karak-Lak. Now we all saw what happened earlier. How many of them went for the direction of Karak-Lak. Plus the abominations. And the dwarves are sitting alone over there. There is nobody else coming in the aid of the dwarves, except us. 5 of us? We are gonna beat the army? The horde of demons and abominations?"
Rise, you're a man beaten down by the world around you. That does not mean there is not hope. Says we're the only aid coming. You do not know that. Many a call have been sent out to the world.
You've seen what happened in Westerlands. What happened with the mayor. There's
Yes.
nobody coming in the aid. Nobody even knows that the Karak-Lak is under siege. Of course, we did send a dwarf. But where is he gonna go? Whose aid is he gonna get?
We sent a dwarf, but I was sent by a goddess. You think the other gods are not doing the same? You think the world is abandoned by its protectors? No. This is the time we begin to unite. The people of the world come together to be strong. Prove that the darkness does not always win. The moment for us, people of this world, to triumph. We'll prove. We just cut off the entire reinforcement army coming through the portals. Us 5. And a few pets.
Two of them just grumbles. I wish we had another ship, though.
Aye. So do I, my friend. It would have been most fortuitous. But here we are. Days before we ever thought we'd arrive. We've already cut the enemy off at their tail. Fortune is with us, my friends. The gods are with us.
I
To
see
travel,
Ricardo's
we should-
aura getting shinier and shinier as he speaks.
You are some of the best companions I've ever traveled with. I've not traveled with such a mighty foe since I cannot remember. We shall head forth tomorrow to Karak-Lak. Shall make haste to join in the battle, to save our dwarven friends. We shall be good. Shall be victorious. We'll make it through. We'll fight to the end. I have faith, my friends. I have faith in us all. Even if you do not. Now come, let us drink.
And Rise raises his glass.
Two of them like stands up at it and goes like, "Here, here," and then downs another glass.
Salazar tries to stand up and falls over.
Ricardo will turn to Draken.
I don't have any drink, so I'm not toasting or anything.
Oh, I'm holding out a drink to you. I've been bringing drink to everybody.
I guess I'll take the drink. I'm not gonna drink it.
holds up to
As soon as
toast
you
it,
drink-
and as soon as you turn your back, he just throws it over his shoulder.
Yeah. Hey.
Guys, you make it seem like we have to defeat the whole army of demons.
Well,
We didn't defeat the entire army of demons here, did we?
We cut off the further reinforcements. We
And I
also killed 2 powerful beings that were
We killed
allies.
1 and 2 people, and then we stopped the whole thing. Why wouldn't we just do the same there?
Well, we stopped the reinforcements there. That's where the head of the army is. But if we take out their generals, we can easily claim
That's-
victory.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
I'm saying
Yep.
go to Karak-Lak, find who's up in charge, kill them, kill the next person in charge, and then the army just falls apart. Still a threat, but it'd be easier to beat.
Precisely.
Falcor and Hypnos. But my guess is that getting to Hypnos won't be easy. And yes, we should focusing on taking the head of the snake.
Yes.
And
Good plans, my friends.
there is one more thing. And I look at Drakan. We might win. Ricardo is right. There is still hope. But we also might do some damage to Malekith. And Drakan, you might be the key.
One key I am is to open new portals, and I'd rather not do that again.
2 of them just roars. Then we are brothers.
Gives you a big hug.
Yeah.
God.
Jeez. Ricardo's just going to join in more of the merriment. It's like, people are hugging. This is great.
I imagine Erden's just picking me up, and I'm just hanging there limply.
Well,
Time to read your book, like fucking hell.
I'm not saying that you would need to open any kind of portal. I'm only suggesting that you are possessing a power which could greatly endanger Malekith. And I need to know, we need to know, how much do you know about what lies inside of your blood? What kind of magic your blood is able to do? Do you have any knowledge of that?
I have no knowledge of that.
I mean, imagine Jack when he starts talking about like your blood, you're starting to get that unsettling, nervous feeling in your stomach.
They're talking about like I'm picturing as the axe and people holding me down. Like I don't like this conversation.
All this while. All
I
this
don't know
while.
anything about the magic I have besides the magic I use to fight and sneak around with.
All this is happening while Salazar is just trying to stand back up with everything snapped except for one arm.
The succubus called me a brother, but didn't even know I had siblings, and I'm not even sure she was telling the truth or she was just trying to get under my skin.
Doesn't matter who your siblings are, my friend. You are you. Wherever you want to be. You can choose the path of darkness led out by the demonic blood within you, or you could choose the mortal life. You could choose to be a better man.
Or I could just be what I am. To be one or the other.
On you go, Phil.
So, I already praised you. You really did surprise me. You are different, and I was very skeptical about you. I was on my guard. I consider you as my comrade, and I know you are willing and exposing yourself to help this realm, to stop Malekith. But is there any way you could recall, you could gain some insight of what are you capable of? That would be really helpful in stopping Malekith and also destroying Hypnos.
I mean, everyone else seems to know more about me than I do. All I know is half demon, half elf. To be a ninja. Pretty much it, you know? I mean, I guess we could go back to that lady in the forest. She seemed to know more about me. Other than that, I couldn't tell you.
And when they used you to open the portal, how did they do it? What did they do to you?
There was a camp in the, I forget the name of the southern continent. Was there a demon? Were there demons there already?
It was a sorcerer who was a mind flayer called Elamic.
So we were there to free some people that he had trapped. He had slaves, I believe it was. They like building something. And a group of people went there to free a particular person, but then we found out there was a whole bunch more of them. So we released as many as we could. And well, you see, there was this gem. This very big, very beautiful, expensive, if I had to guess. You see. So after we saved the people, I thought I would just help myself to the gym because it was just out there in the open, like easy, get in there, snatch it, leave. But it didn't quite work out that way. When I touched it, I was frozen, and then the sorcerer used my blood to open a portal and summon an entire demon army.
So your blood is more of a conduit, and the magic behind needs to be wielded. Well,
Shit.
that is informative. Thank
I
you.
was thinking I shouldn't have said anything like that. Shit.
And Drakan, I need you to trust me. To trust us in this group. I do not aim to harm you.
I said all that out loud. Like in my head, I'm picturing the axe situation, and now I'm starting to piece together why they did that. So like, I'm gonna be looking a little worried, and I'm just gonna say, I trust you to do what's best for humanity, and then I'm just gonna look at my book.
Okay.
In my head, like now that he said my blood can be used to open portals, I'm picturing why they maybe killed me before Hypnos can use me, or Hypno can use
Yeah.
me. And
Yeah.
So now I'm kind of worried that I even spoke out. Like shit, I should have kept all that to myself.
Yeah, I mean, now you're like, shit, okay, maybe I shouldn't have told them that because now they have a reason to do it to me.
Exactly. Now they have a reason to kill me before Hypno gets a hold of me.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
And with Ricardo
Yeah.
being from the southern continent, I don't know if he's aware of the demonic army that's began its march across there.
No, I think he's been in the Northern Continent for probably close to a century now.
All right,
Salazar,
okay.
Salazar was from the southern continent.
Oh yeah, the Salazar as well. Although I mean, you're from like a floating island, so I don't know if you're exactly from the continent itself.
Yeah, we're just in a floating island over the giant desert.
Yeah, you're kind of your own sort of people. Yeah, so conveniently, these people don't really know much about the giant demonic hordes that are wreaking havoc there. Until you brought up.
That is all my fault. Yeah.
It is not your fault, my friend. You are being used by others. Malicious intents. It was never your doing. Don't blame yourself.
He's
do
just
now.
sitting
You take vengeance. Get righteousness.
there. That's why I'm here.
For you, my friend.
So if I learn this spell, I'm gonna go ahead and try and cast it, and that could be something I can do right now to protect the camp. I
Sure,
guess,
yeah,
you know,
we're going. Yeah, I mean, you're going to rest, and anyone who can level up can level up. So, what is it you're thinking of taking?
City in the bottle. So like I would like my location would be the entire camp area.
Let me just look at this quick. I should just control F. That'd be easy way to find it.
Well, like city and bottle, I take the area, and then no one outside of it can find it. And if anybody leaves it, they can't find it again without my help. Assuming it would take magic to find us. Okay.
Okay, so it's kind of like making it into like a pocket dimension sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah, a hidden pocket. Yeah, sure.
If I'm gonna be resting and get all the mana back, I'm just gonna use all my mana on this.
Yeah, sure. That'd be fine. Well, I mean, you're going to. Yeah, that's fine actually. And is there like any kind of sort of visual effect to this that everyone else would notice?
I don't think anyone inside would notice. It would look the same, but like anyone outside, we would all disappear, and it would just be like blank rock again, or whatever the campsite looked like.
I think with Rise being mana sensitive, he'd be aware that magic is being cast by someone to do something at least.
Right. Well, I would have told them what I was doing, so at least they would have known, but they might not have like noticed anything.
Right, sure. Yeah, because you don't want to give them reasons to start chopping you up yet.
No. Now I'm really worried that they might try to kill me. So like, I'm making my intentions clear. I'm gonna tell them like I have a spell I can use now to like protect the camp. So we can rest easy. We travel. Need for a watch or anything.
Yeah, that'd be amazing, my friend. We can all have a good night's rest.
This is the plan.
And Rise, I mean, I think once the spell goes off, you notice that Ricardo's sky beam that's always going up to the clouds is now sort of like severed at a certain point, so that it's no longer visual to people on the outside. It no longer extends as high as it did before.
It feels like it's only filling a room.
Yeah, the immediate sort of like vicinity.
Mm.
So did anyone else have a level up, anything that we're going to gain?
I'm 1 XP away.
Oh, well, you can get an XP for a fireside chat, definitely. You and Duradam.
You talked to like 3 people.
I talked to everybody in the party. I went through the whole party.
Who was asking you questions back, though? I mean, you can still do that if you want to ask Ricardo stuff about himself and his background to get an extra XP.
Ricardo, you're from the southern continent, right?
It's deep in the south. That's the land that is pretty much governed by my dear goddess. At least that was when I was there.
Have you ever been to any of the Sky Islands in the southern continent?
I think I could remember some stories from back then about them, but no, I don't think I ever visited the Sky Island myself. At least not that I can recall. I've been alive for a very long time, my friend. I've seen a lot and forgotten just as much, if not more.
Oh, I'm sure you can remember some stories about your travels, right?
Some. Mhm. The many towns and cities I've visited, the many women I've conquered.
Imagine, Ricardo, you can remember you did know someone that had some strong connection to like a floating island, but you can't remember anything about that person.
Yeah. I think I used to know someone from a floating island. I think it was a very long time ago, but I don't remember who. Oh, I just have a feeling like someone may have came from one of them before. Small inkling. I think that's why I recognized your friend, Timothy, over there. Waiting to Sherman the shark.
Oh, you mean does Salazar remember anyone with a shark named Timothy?
No, but he's pointing at Sherman, saying Timothy.
Oh no, his name is Sherman.
Sherman, are you sure? He looks like a Timothy to me. But he is your shark. I will give him the great respect with his name. You're a mighty fine Sherman, I'll say to Sherman while bowing to him.
The shark's like just staring hungrily at the creeper tentacle creature.
Is it just like shifting itself so it's on the opposite side of me from him?
Yeah, I imagine it's because I mean it's always moving, so it's kind of like just like circling with one eye on it the whole time.
Well, he might look like a Timothy, but he told me his name is Sherman, so
Sherman is a mighty fine name. I'm just going to take +1 forceful, by the way, just for simplicity.
Sure.
What even brought you here up north?
Mm. The same reason I'm here. Just, I think it was about 105 years ago. I got a message from the goddess saying that someone needed help on a certain island, an island full of glamorous elves. And ah, I can remember having many fun times on those islands, but I can't remember much else. Yes, and well, it was a little easier to get further on up into this continent than it was to go back south. So my
you know,
travels simply led me here.
on my way north, I looked for for those elves on that island, but for some reason I could never find any.
Mm.
But then again, I guess they must have some kind of magic protecting their islands.
Mm. Yeah.
What about you, Salazar? What brings you here up north?
I'm traveling to look for new monsters to add to our army on the Celestial Plateau.
Fortifying your strength for the upcoming war. Wise leadership, your islands have.
Yes, as soon as I return and we have our forces built up, we're going to start our conquest of the ground floor.
Mm. Yes, smite those evil demon army.
What demons?
Good one, my friend. Good one. Well, it's been a very good day. It's been a very long day, my friends. I believe it's time for a good rest.
Yes. Time to go in bed.
So Salazar and Rise both get an XP as well. Do either of you guys have a level up?
Yeah, I was wondering what I already wrote in.
Yeah, counter spell.
Yeah,
I mean, I would. That's fine. I would say just think about what kind of things you've encountered already, and you know, if you're wanting like magic to counter those kind of dangers, if a more specific one would be suitable, or if you want to just go for a general counter magic spell.
well, it would be kind of a protective spell, not like a dispel. It's I don't know. I find it somewhat fun to enter a magical duel. You know,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
we have to roll whose spell is gonna
Yeah, you
work.
enter, like you said, you enter like a duel. You're not really just like stopping it. You're just like blasting against it, and then you've got kind of a battle of minds or a battle of power against each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, I
And
mean
I'm
that's
wondering.
fine.
So I would first need to roll to put some kind of a ward on that target, and then the second one would be rolling for the duel.
Yeah, so I mean, like rolling the spell in the first place would just be to see if you can like match them by getting the ward on them. Yeah. And then once you've got them engaged in it, maybe they can't break off and do any other kind of magic until it's been resolved. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should work fine if that's what you want.
Would it make sense for them to be able to take athletic, just some extra tanky? Or does that not really work? If you're
Athletic,
slow?
yes. Agile, no.
Yeah, agile would make sense.
But yeah, I mean, athletics is strength, stamina, so that's definitely you. Yeah.
I'll just take that then.
I'm still 2 away from level up.
Right. Well, you'll get one at the end of the session then, almost certainly.
So we're all going to bed then.
Yes, you go to sleep. I mean, the sun doesn't really go down because the sun never really came up here because of the clouds and the gases. So it's just like it goes slightly kind of darker and then slightly kind of lighter come what you assume to be morning. Your sleep is interrupted many times during the night through the cries and shrieks of creatures, but when you wake up in the morning, these kind of portals and dimensional kind of crossover that are happening, they're dissipating. They're much more kind of thinner. The things that you can see are like kind of translucent and faded. They're much more kind of like spread apart. So whatever effect was happening here is definitely lessened over the course of the night.
Ricardo's going to be in a deeper sleep than most, and he's not going to have woken up once throughout the night. He's
Yeah,
going to be the
oblivious.
last one to wake up. Yeah.
And when it comes to the morning as well, Drakan, I mean, you feel much more, how to say it, not smaller, but you were feeling kind of like bigger and enhanced, and now you're definitely feeling more like sort of your sort of constricted physical form self again. And whatever was kind of affecting you around here and kind of felt different, that's gone.
Yeah, I'm kind of putting 2 and 2 together then. It would open the portal, kind of like I was connected to other dimensions, so I felt more myself, I suppose. If you look at one half of me.
Yeah, or like one side of you was kind of like fed from it. It was like kind of being affected by an enemy. And it also uses around this kind of like pocket hidden spell. And this big, huge, massive, towering creature that's wandering around steps right over your encampment at one point during the night. And anyone who was awake at the time from the rumbling or the loud horn that it just lets out now and again could have been understandably anxious about it just like crushing you all, but it completely bypasses you, stepping over you, and you can see like hordes of smaller creatures crawling over its body and flying around it way up high as it steps across you, and it continues to just kind of walk across in a kind of almost circular fashion around the plains. Whatever else is kind of fading and disappearing, this thing seems to be getting left behind.
This was the thing that the succubus kept, like, every time it would blast its horn, she'd, like, go out of time. So I don't...
Yeah, she was like,
confused on
fuck
that.
this.
So this thing must be dangerous, or it means something. And now
I'm
that
guessing.
that came to me, I would relay that to Vice, since he was asking me for information. Like, when we wake up, I think I would tell him that.
I'm guessing Salazar doesn't recognize what this creature is.
No, this thing is unlike anything you've seen before. It doesn't communicate in the way a creature does. It seems to be more like an environmental force rather than an actual intelligence, or even like animalistic intelligence. It's completely alien to you.
It's more like just a force of nature.
Yeah, it's definitely something from another plane of existence. Like it does not make sense to you. But yes, so you'll wake up and it's morning.
Oh, Ricardo will still be asleep and everyone's awake. And if Rise notices something, the aura coming off Ricardo, there's a lot more pink in it than there was before. Like last night when they went to sleep.
I can imagine it's like there's like sparks coming off of it now and again, like like sparks of a fire that's kind of dying down.
Yeah, something like that. But Ricardo's just completely asleep.
I'm guessing he's having nice dreams.
I guess I would just disable the spell when we all wake up.
I guess I'll try to wake up Ricardo.
I think we
So-
should take the big four-legged monster thing, just to Karak-Lak, guide it there somehow.
I don't think we should get anywhere near it.
I think if we can guide it in that area, it would cause disruptions and distractions, would make it easier for us to do our job.
It was one of Malekith's servants that summoned it to begin with, so why would we not think it would be on his side?
If the succubus was afraid of it, so maybe the other demons are also afraid of it.
Something like this it's on no one's side. It's likely to eat whoever this Malekith is as much as it is to eat us.
So you're saying they couldn't stop it from coming through the gate?
Oh, they might be able to stop it, but it would take a lot of them, maybe, or it would distract them a lot. That's just my thoughts on the matter. We don't have to do that. I was just thinking, since our plan is to take out Hypno and Falcor, where that is, it'd be easier if we had a distraction.
If you
course.
could,
That's assuming we can get this thing to follow us for however long it takes us to get to Karak-Lak.
Yeah, if you know how to lure it, then I'd not be opposed to it.
Be a bit of a problem.
I think the biggest concern is that we don't know what this creature is capable of.
I'm just gonna go grab a drink, guys. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Sure, no problem.
That's fine. It was just as I was sleeping, I remembered it's like he was afraid of this thing, so I was seeing if we couldn't use it somehow. But if we can't, it is what it is.
I'm just wondering if we can actually outrun it if we do try to lure it.
And keep it up for days.
But take his
Yeah,
days
that's-
though. If we would look how all the other little monsters are just on it, and it's just ignoring them.
I mean,
Just
have
point it.
any of us
legs
seen it actually go to sleep?
It was up all night. Or I was up during the night. Every now and then it was still around, moving.
I don't think we can keep going in the same way it can.
But
There's a long journey to Karak-Lak.
Right, but look at all the little things on it that it's just ignoring. So why would it bother with us if people are also just on it? We
But
have
if
to
it
worry
wouldn't
about
bother
all
with
the.
us, then how do we control it?
Oh, we just gotta get it pointed in a certain direction, and then let it go in that direction. Every time it tries to change course, we just distract it. It go back the same direction. One like Neo Salazar could easily get its attention and then just disappear.
That might be a good idea, definitely. Because you can easily distract it, lure it, and then disappear, and keeping on the course towards the Karak-Lak.
And then we wouldn't have to worry about that many dangers on the ground. We'd have to worry about whatever's up there. And with my city in the bottle spell, you literally pick a location, and if I can get the spell to work again, we'd be safe, and as long as we didn't leave that area.
And the rest of us safely follow behind.
Or like just stay on it. Like I said, we could make camp on it, and I would just keep the camp safe with my spell.
But
You guys
does
would
it
have
work
a
on a
high-
moving? But does it work when the place we're on is moving?
I don't know. I had to test it out. It said pick a location. Location would technically be the back of the monster. So as long as we didn't leave that particular spot on the monster, I would think it would work. But that would again something we'd have to test out and see. If it doesn't work, then we just abandon the idea and go on by ourselves, I guess. The way we definitely have to think of some kind of distraction before we get there. I don't know if we can sneak all of us into Karak-Lak safely and find Hypno.
One creation, I said this thing had 4 legs, it has 6 legs.
All the better, more legs for it to walk faster.
So you guys
I'm
are...
loving
Sorry, there you go.
I'm loving how they're having this debate. Ricardo's still just completely like unconscious asleep at their feet.
But I thought Salad tried to wake you up, so I guess he'd be next to you having this conversation with us while he's trying to wake you up.
Yeah, you just feel a tentacle just start reaching over and pushing you alongside a hand.
Yeah. Salazar's going to slowly wake up, and he stares. He's going to see the three of you and jump in absolute fright. Starts screaming, "Ah! Ayo! Bring here! Go them! Go them! We're under attack!"
Durdum just like hauls his axe out and goes, "Where are they?"
You see them? They're right in front of us! He'll jump towards Durdum's side. He'll draw his rapier, start pointing at you three.
I'll look at my shoulder where a yellow eye is looking back at me. We'll both just turn back and look at you confused. Ricardo, what's wrong?
My name. Who are you? Who are you people? What are you doing here?
Coffee? Like, is it that a thing? Does he need coffee?
I don't know.
What do you mean, who are we?
What should we do, my friend? Got these strangers are invading our camp.
I
Strangers?
don't see who you mean.
What do you mean, those three with all those creatures near them? The shark and the weird tentacle things.
Well, the shark's called Sherman. I don't know about the tentacle things.
Its name is Sherbert.
Well, why does it matter what name it is? They're intruders to our camp.
Oh, I
Did
can't.
you bump your head when you fell asleep? And he's just like kneeling down to look at him closely, like he's gonna see a crack on him or something.
No such injury, my friend. We've been traveling together for weeks now. Us two alone. So who are those people?
Two of them goes like, "No, we've been traveling together," and then he's counting on his fingers like, Drac, Sherman, Salad. Yes, all of us.
Impossible. It's only ever been you and me. I don't know who
Ricardo,
these people are.
what is the last thing you recall?
How do you know my name?
Because we are traveling together.
No. That is impossible. No. Doris and I, we were in the collapsing island, fell into this volcano. We came out here and we made camp.
Wait, don't we?
We were on a
do we
quest to
all know
Karak-Lak.
that he forgets stuff? Like, don't we all know that, or did he not tell us that part about himself?
No one has
Well-
ever asked about like curses or ever seen him forget anything before, like this before.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing
All he
you know
knows
is he's like, you know, when he's trying to remember things, because he says he's so old, he says he can't remember things. So, I mean, you could infer that part.
Would he even remember if he forgot something, though?
He would not.
Yeah, I didn't think he knew he was cursed with that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any of you have, like, asked him about a curse at all, so you just don't really kind of know.
Just talking about it at one point when he was trying to sleep with a woman. I'm speaking about it third person. Okay. Out of character.
Like-
I mean.
Two of them, even though he doesn't have eyes or anything, it somehow seems like he has this like sadness to him, to his face. And he goes,
Yeah, you'll notice as he's
like-
talking to these people, the others, he's got tears running down his face.
but two of them like also look sad and says to Ricardo, "How old did you say you were?"
I don't know. In a very long time.
I've known some very old dwarves who they find it hard to remember people.
He thinks he's got Alzheimer's.
Poor Ricardo,
My
he's got
memory is-
dementia.
My memory is not that bad, my friend.
Oh.
So I remember all our great adventures with the airships. I remember meeting you in what was the name of the town we first met again?
Brogdenburg.
Brockenberg. I remember meeting you in outside Brockenberg, as I was asked to hunt what turned out to be river trolls.
Remember the mind player attacking your mind?
Yes, I remember fighting the mind flare.
This is just a side effect of that. Like, it did affect me, you, and Salazar. Maybe it messed with his memories or something. I don't know how those things work.
I don't know if.
You only.
There you go.
Go on, John.
No, I was gonna
No,
say
you go
I
on.
don't know if Rise, because Keegan obviously has seen the magical aura around you from day one, and you've talked about your deity and stuff, and he has a little more kind of knowledge about magic and stuff. So I don't know if he can do like a clever roll to try and understand what's happening a little better.
Yeah, I did see his aura change. Now I'm confused, but I think for a moment, and I'm gonna roll clever. Oh,
Oh no, yeah. So I mean, you got lucky if you want to spend that.
it's a mage background. Viable option to reroll.
Yeah, sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's a 9.
that's much better.
Much better.
Yes, I mean, you're starting to like put the pieces together. Like he's obviously had you until now. Maybe you thought it's a blessing because he said he was a paladin, but now you're like, oh, maybe it's not a blessing. Maybe there's like a downside to what this effect has on him. Maybe it is some kind of like curse. Like something's been done to him, obviously.
And is his aura changed?
A lot more pink in it right now, but it's starting to, as I've now awoken, the pink is starting to dilute and return more towards normal.
Yeah, so like some sort of effect has happened while he was asleep.
Ricardo, look at me.
Who are you
are-
first? Name yourself.
My name is Rise. We've been traveling together. And
Eyes. No.
from the
I've
first
never
moment,
seen any of you before.
you've encountered Durden, we've been here as well, more or less. You're coming from south, right? You are from south.
Yes. Yes, I'm from the southern continent.
You are a paladin of goddess Euphoria, right?
Of course. I bear her mark upon my chest.
You bear a mark.
It's the symbol on his armor. It's like Euphoria's crested on his armor.
And you are sent by the goddess to save the world.
Sent to save the dwarves in this mission.
Save the
Those are
dwarves, save the
Karak-Lak.
world. But anyways, I never mentioned that, but I can see auras. And your aura, from the first moment I saw you, it was radiant. You are like a lighthouse, a beacon amongst many other auras. It's almost blinding when I'm standing close to you. I thought you're special, you're a champion of goddess Euphoria.
I am.
Now when we were sleeping, your aura changed and somehow you forgot about us. It's like it was erased from your memory.
How is that possible? No. And if my memory of you all was erased, why is it not of Durden? I can clearly remember him. Been together.
I don't
If
know
it's
about
broken
that.
bow.
Paladin, not exactly human. Maybe that's like you're not like you, but you're not flesh and blood. Maybe that's the difference. No offense, Jordan.
We can only guess, but nobody was using any kind of magic. Except Drakan, but we knew about his magic. So nothing magical was influencing your mind. You were not harmed. There is something else at work here. Either you have a serious mind flaw, a dementia of some sorts, or you might even be cursed.
You
Do
see
you-
the hand that's holding the rapier pointing at you, trembling, and as your speech went on, it's like the shaking got worse and worse and worse.
Do you think some kind of witch must have cursed him?
I don't know. We've been sleeping next to each other for days now, and this haven't happened yet. And his aura didn't change until now. And the moment is quite inconvenient. This could be a serious problem.
Didn't Ricardo have that book?
A book?
Remember when you picked up the gauntlet? There was something about curses.
I haven't seen the book. You have a book about curses.
I have multiple. I'll pull out my bag and throw him a couple of the curse books. How to live with a curse. Dealing with basic curses.
One that says, "So you've been cursed."
So you'd be cursed. I was like, I should have had another one. Curses for Dummies is missing. Which is the book I gave him. Which, if he looks in his own pack, he'll know the book Curses for Dummies is in there.
Well, why do you carry books about curses? Are you cursed?
He's shaking his hands, getting a bit worse. His breathing's getting heavier. I don't know how long ago. I can't remember how long it's been, but this body has been cursed for a very, very long time. I've cursed that I cannot die. I do not age. Life passes me by, the world passes me by, people pass me by, but I remain the same.
To the club.
That is my curse. Curse I've been trying to end. Curse even a goddess cannot take away. You're trying to tell me there is more to this abominable thing? That not only have I to live, to never rot, to never die, to forever remain a stone, I have to forget everyone I have ever met, ever cared for, ever loved.
Not everyone. You got Durden, apparently.
The shaking's gonna stop. The tears are just gonna start building up more in his eyes. He turns and looks into Durdum.
And a Durden kind of flinched away when you said a stone. So he was like averting from your gaze.
Why? Why are my memories of yours still so clear? And maybe am I not going to be alone anymore? He's gonna fall to his knees and just tears billowing down his eyes. Just drops his sword.
How can a goddess as old as Euphoria not be able to remove a curse?
A lot of things gods can't do.
It could be a curse from another god.
And how and why were we cursed in the first place?
He pissed off a different god.
Ricardo, what enemies does Euphoria have? Who would have done this to you?
I've asked her many a times. There's not a single conversation with my goddess that I've forgotten. It's the only conversations I ever and will never forget. And she will never say. She cannot answer those kind of questions. And I always see the sadness in her face every time I ask. It's been a long time since I've asked her again. I don't wish to see that sadness on her face ever again. So sometimes she says it'll help me going some places. Maybe there's a chance that this curse will finally be broken.
So you
But I'm
don't
still here.
have any idea who or why would you be cursed?
I do not know. No. I've spent more lifetimes than I think most could count trying to find an answer to this. And I think I'd rather just forget.
Like, Ricardo, you can't just forget. We're all comrades. Like, I don't care if it makes your god sad. Gods are meant to watch over us. They're not meant to let man suffer like this. We should ask her again.
And if that doesn't work, we can always fight fire with fire. We'll find an even stronger curse to curse you with.
Cause that sounds like a nice idea. Curse him on top of another curse.
You're a funny
pull out,
you're a funny one, Tentacle Man.
I'll pull out the void sword and just show it to Ricardo. What if we use this monstrosity?
I think I'd pray to Euphoria first.
Suit yourself.
So Ricardo's gonna sit down, pray to Euphoria, and try and summon her to speak. Commune with the gods.
Sure. I'm assuming you're like down on your knees in some sort of position.
Yep. Down on my knees, praying. One hand to the ground, another on my heart. Head bowed down.
As he starts to do that, one of you, maybe Drakan, just looks over in the direction of the south where you're headed to the horizon. What was like the peaks of the mountains poking over the top of the horizon is now obscured by this very long cloud of what looks to be like a dark fog or mist. And it seems to be like rolling in towards you slowly.
I don't get a good feeling about that. I don't think we should stay here very long. And point it out to everyone else. We ask your God for help after we move a little bit.
Yeah, Ricardo's already in a trance praying to her to try and summon her.
Jesus Christ.
And Rise, do you? I think we talked about this before. You have like kind of like the Highlander. Do you get a kind of like sense when there's another of your brotherhood, your order, kind of within proximity, don't you?
Yeah.
Yes, just at the edge of that kind of area that you can detect it. You're starting to feel the presence of another of your order.
Can I sense who it might be?
Is it that specific that you can tell by like the signature?
Probably if it's so far away, I can like it's somebody from my order, but not who it is.
Yeah, I mean
There's
you'll
only
know
like one
as,
left.
yeah, you just know it's getting closer.
Isn't there only like one other left, Volcor? That's all who's left.
There's not a
Please
lot of them
order.
though.
I think there's 3 total. There was 2 I know for sure that was still alive. And then Valkyr.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
was the rope guy.
The dwarf's now dead, so
Should we
Only-
get ready to fight? Do you think it's going to attack us, or should we wait and see?
We just pick up Ricardo and then leave, or can we not outrun it?
Well, I'm confused. I wouldn't say that anybody from my 2 remaining brothers would be somewhere around this area. Something is off. Something is off.
The ground trembles. There's just like a vibration in it, so slightly. Salazar, you immediately get the feeling that there's like a stampede on the way.
I'm gonna hand one of Sherbert's tentacles the void sword and pull out my bow, and then just call Sherman over to just fly up and see what's happening.
Yeah, you call over Sherman, and there's a moment where you kind of feel like Sherman's going to take a bite out of Sherbert, or Sherbert might lash out at Sherman with the sword, but the two of them kind of acquiesce, and yeah, you jump on the shark and fly upwards.
Can I see what's in the cloud, or is it still too far away?
Yeah, so you can see on the horizon, it's just like a massive stampede of creatures of varying sizes. A lot of them, the ones at the front seem larger than the ones behind. And there is hundreds of them. And they're like charging towards you all. You can't recognize what kind of creature they are. They're all misshapen. They've all got different amounts of limbs and different sizes, bodies, and different colours. But there is a figure kind of like in the center of them, and you can even see from here he's kind of armored, and he looks like he's kind of surrounded by a violet kind of glow of mana energy.
Salazar will fly back down to the rest of them to tell them what he saw. There's a large group of abominations being led by some kind of purple wizard.
Purple lizard.
Purple wizard.
A figure in armor. You don't know what it is. It could be a wizard.
Some kind of purple person.
Rise for a moment. Looks scared, but then he pulls out his sword and just murmurs, "It's Volcor. He's coming for us."
Draken, can you set up another one of those barriers to buy us some time?
The pocket dimension? The little city in a bottle still?
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll work against someone that like Vice who can travel dimensions, but I can try.
What will it buy us time for? Are we escaping? Are we fighting?
It'll buy us time to decide what to do.
So I'm still with my first plan. We should like get everybody on top of the big thing with the 6 legs, and that will help us or something.
How close is it to us now?
And is it closer than the stampede?
Yeah, let's say it's half the distance than the stampede is to you. Because I mean, the stampede's coming from the horizon. It's quite a distance away.
I guess let's try to get there before they get to it.
I think that's the only option we have left.
Or what do you think, Rise? You said you seem to know who it is.
If you say that's so many of them, I think it would be a good strategy if we lure that creature. from another dimension. Wreak havoc while we focus on Falkor. He needs to be stopped. It's the reckoning day.
Okay, so you just want to run to the massive creature. You have still got Ricardo down on his knees in a trance.
I say we put Ricardo on Sherman. That way, Lazar can take him up there safely, and then get Durden up there with shadow stepping, and then Rise will just have to find his own way up, I suppose. Stole protection or something.
We know. I think Falkor is coming for me. We can lay an ambush. You lure the creature. I'm gonna try to buy us some time. I'm gonna confront him, and well, we will see what he wants from me.
I don't think you by yourself is a good idea. It might take us too long to get to you with this. I think you should come with us while we're trying to get this thing aimed that way. Then you can make up whatever distraction plan you want to try.
Yes, maybe even that. We could find a good ambush position. Then maybe execute some kind of a plan.
You can now hear like the clattering of hoofs and feet, like stampeding in their thousands towards you.
Alright, time to go. We can plan on the way to the giant six-legged monster. Durden, you mind picking up Ricardo and putting him on Sermon?
And Durden will do so.
As you do,
When
two tentacles reach back and wrap around Ricardo.
When Durden picks up Ricardo, he's like incredibly rigid and stiff, and even though he's picked him up, he's both his arms and his legs just remain solidly in that same position, almost like he's a statue.
And he's getting very sweaty.
Yep. And Rise will also know that the aura around him is getting more pink.
Is that how conversations with his god go?
Oh, he's not even in a conversation with her yet. This is what it takes just to summon her for a conversation.
Yeah, imagine you're having, in your mind, you're like having to travel through the realm to get to where she is in her realm. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of almost like an astral version of yourself, following the path and going past all the orgies and having to say, no, thank you, not just now, I'm busy.
Occasionally jumping in a feud, even though he's busy.
It's like, oh, okay then, just a quickie.
Some of them he can't
Insist.
resist. Yeah, but remember, he's in the end, he's not even trying to just go to her. He's trying to bring her here.
Yeah, but like the process is, kind of like...
He has to go
going through-
request her to come.
Yeah.
It's basically he's got to go through the office, go to our secretary, and like, can Euphoria come and meet us on the mortally plane? And then we'll wait in bureaucracy and all that, but the bureaucracy also has orgies.
Yeah, there's a sequence of events, a process to the whole thing. Because she's got, worshippers all over the place. She can't be everywhere at once.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. She's
Okay,
a powerful goddess.
So Durden picks you up, puts you on the back of Sherman. And, okay, so where's everyone going now? What's happening?
I'm trying to get to the six-legged monster so we can climb on his back with all the other small creatures that are up there. And get up there. The plan is to try and get it.
Okay, so
Piece this forward.
out of those of you who are running to the creature, who is the slowest?
Big Durden, but I was going to help him with my shadow stepping, so I guess that would actually Rise, maybe?
Yeah, after all, I think he's coming for me, and I'm gonna be a bait.
So are you going with them though, or are you going in a different direction since you're trying to decoy?
Well, I'm just trying to buy them time to get the creature into the midst of a battle.
So are you going with them to like act as bait to lure him in, or are you going like in a different direction?
Should be heading towards the same direction, but maybe not right towards it, kind of deal. So that it's not the battle wouldn't be far away from us once we did get its attention.
Yeah, something like that.
Right. Okay then. Okay, Rise, do you want to roll a quick roll for me then? Yeah, so you keep a pace with them, and you're kind of like putting a distance between you at the same time. I guess so you're not luring them like right into the creature so that they can have the opportunity to actually interact with it without being harassed. But the first of the stampede, the fastest of these creatures gets to you, and it's very feline in appearance. It's like a giant panther almost. It's got two tails. It's got a huge gaping mouth with fangs. It's got multiple eyes and ears. It's covered in all this mishmash of fur from different creatures. And it does like approach you, and it comes up to attack you, but you're easily able to kind of like cut it down and then cut the next couple of smaller ones down that get to you. But it's only going to be a matter of time before the stampede and the swarm in its totality is upon you. And at this distance, you can clearly see now the aura, and you recognise it of Volkor, and he's been drawn by a chariot of these creatures, 6 of them strong. And some of these abominations are massive hulking behemoths that are just kind of thundering along behind him on these huge like legs and fists. You can see other ones are kind of like flying above with these huge spread out bat wings and feathered wings. Just this amalgamation of animal pieces and flora and fauna that have been welded together with magic and inhabited by like planar spirits. But the rest of you catch up to this huge creature, and as you approach it, all of these like, they're not really tentacles, they're more like insect limbs, like descend down from its body, stretch downwards towards you all, clearly able to detect you somehow. So what do you do as you approach?
There was a bunch of little creatures on it. Are they still around, or?
Yeah, there's these like giant lice kind of looking creatures that are maybe like the size of a hand, a fist, crawling all over its like carapace. There's other creatures with like wings, like fluttering around the upper part of his body.
Tentacles going for those two, or is it like just ignoring them?
They're just ignoring them coming down towards you guys.
Okay. I guess we got some of his attention, so maybe we should try to just change course now. Be saying that to everybody else.
I'm gonna fly next to it and shoot it in the eye. The giant creature.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think that'd be.
So you fly around to get up its head, where its head should be, which is just a mass of tentacles and mouths, and you try to shoot in the eye, but it doesn't have any eyes. It doesn't have anything that might count as eyes.
I'll shoot it in the head, see if I can get its attention.
Roll forceful for me then. Okay, someone is going to fall off the shark. It's going to be you, it's going to be Sherbert, or it's going to be Ricardo. Because as you shoot at it, the sort of like thinner, stretchier looking tentacles in amongst the big, massive tree trunk kind of size ones just shoot out towards you in reaction to the arrow striking its body.
I'll do a barrel roll, and at that point, Sherbert will let go of Ricardo.
And Ricardo starts to tumble through the air still solidified in his prayer position. And
Tentacles.
Duradam
Oh,
and
tentacles.
Dracan will see this. So Duradam and Dracan would just want to do.
Tentacles reach all the way down to the ground.
I mean, if you wait long enough there, they will come all the way down and try to grasp you, yes.
While it
Not-
probably wouldn't help at all, Duradam's just going to bolt off towards like where Ricardo's falling, thinking he can try and catch him, even though it would make like, no difference.
Okay, give me a quick roll.
Oh, and it's just plus minus 0. Jesus.
Of course, it makes no difference.
You are athletic, you can roll another dice.
Power into those legs.
So that's
Not
6.
skill.
6.
Yep.
Poor Ricardo takes a wound. Oh, okay, so, sorry, we never did resting when you just went to sleep at night, so everybody had stored all their pain, and you would lose one of your stress as well.
I can imagine he's landed and a limb's gonna break. Because he's so rigid. It's just like, even when it's broken, he's still gonna body's still gonna stay in that position.
Yeah, like knee
He's gonna
or
land-
elbow or something.
Yeah, so he's like landed on one of his knees and is just like shattered. There's no, you don't hear him crying out in pain. He's completely silent.
This thing turning his attention to anybody in particular when all this is happening.
So what counts as the head is kind of like moved in the direction of Salazar. It's trying to like grasp out at him and the shark that he's riding. It's still kind of lumbering in the direction that it was going. Maybe it's starting to slowly turn and possibly like to go into the direction of where the thundering abominations are coming from. But what you doing, Dracan, as all these like insectoid limbs come down stretching out for you?
I'm just gonna play keep away, see if I can't get it to like keep turning towards me and Salazar so we can lead it towards this thing.
Right, so you're just trying to like kite it around basically.
So I'm not trying to do any damage, I'm just trying to like keep it from hitting me and hopefully it will just follow me since it seems to know where I'm at.
Sure, and you can like shadow step into its shadows now again while you're doing so as well. Do you want to give me a quick roll with advantage?
3 dice. 9, 10, 11.
Yeah, I mean you're easily able to like keep out of the clutches of these grasping limbs, ducking in and out the shadow of the thing's massive shape, and slowly trying to like guide it around, goad it into the direction that you want it to go in. It does seem to be turning that way towards the mass anyway, just obviously with the size of it. It's very lumbering and slow paced, and it's taking it a while to do this kind of wide turnaround. But you've definitely got it going in the direction you want it going. And at this point, Rise, you are actively fighting off abominations that are reaching you.
I will shout out to Folkor that I surrender and that I'm willing to lower my sword. If he accepts, I'm gonna throw the sword on the ground, and without him noticing, I'm gonna place a counter spell board on him, because I know he terribly cursed some of my comrades, and he might do the same to me.
Sure. So you kind of raise your sword in a gesture of parley, and he's going to raise his sword in answer to that. The creatures around you kind of like encircle you, and the others, the stampede, just kind of like charge past you to the others, and his chariot draws up, alongside you, and he kind of like just stands there, his massive form, like he's larger than he used to look. You can feel the power kind of emanating from him more so than the last time you met, and he's just clad in this dark armor head to toe. Again, something like this. And if you want to roll sneaky for me to try and get the ward off without him noticing.
Oh, this is the first time I'm using sneaky and actually have a +1 on sneaky. Oh, I guess I'm gonna be using my lucky.
Yeah, so this is on him himself, not his chariot or anything like that, yeah. Like maybe you like drawn it in the ground or something, so that when he steps off the chariot, he's like stepping into it, and then it's activating.
Nice image for Fulgor, by the way.
Yeah, so it's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Well, I mean, I didn't draw it, so.
Yeah, I know, but you found a good image. It's like badass.
Sure, yeah, so he draws up, you know, takes his massive kind of two-handed sword out, steps off of the chariot into, you know, and he's been warded, hexed, whatever, marked, as you wanted him to be. And he doesn't seem to notice that it's happened. And there's just a kind of Darth Vader shh of gas out from the bottom of his helmet. And there's no eye holes on his helmet. There's no indication that he'd be able to see through this at all, and yet he clearly knows exactly where you're standing. Like, brother, I wondered why you were here.
You even dare to call me a brother. You're a
Yes.
traitor of the order.
He raises his arms wide. He says, "Is that not what we are? Sworn brothers, wardens of the realms?"
You are a disgrace. You will be stopped.
You've been misled, brother. I am no traitor. I've merely found a more suitable way to execute our mission.
So you are in allegiance with Malekith.
Malekith is nothing but a tyrant. You should know this, brother. He is far below you and I. The powers we wield.
So what is your purpose then?
The same purpose we always have, brother. To maintain balance and the purity of the realms.
And how do you plan to execute that?
Tilts his head slightly. Perhaps he's smiling under that helmet of his. Why don't you explain to me first, brother, your purpose here in these wastelands? At that point, we'll cut away to Salazar. Oh, sorry, no, we'll cut away to Ricardo. So, Ricardo, you've kind of reached the palace of Euphoria, within Euphoria's realm. And it is like a palace made of flesh. It is a palace that is actively engaged in the act of procreation with itself.
Mm-hmm.
And it is also a
Giving birth
palace
to
of,
new-
you know, innate beauty.
Giving birth to new angels of Euphoria.
Yes, the joy of life.
His angels spread love and joy.
Yes, and the
Oh, of
patrons
course.
are out there worshipping her in the way that they know how.
Mm-hmm.
People are happy here, content. They're full of love. They're here to like bring forth life.
And that feeling of love brings me a sense of inner peace, a sense of relaxing enjoyment.
And yet there is a tinge of cold loneliness when you feel this as well.
Yeah, this cold loneliness I've felt ever since our conversation with my party mates that I don't remember. This realization that the emptiness that's been like dormant inside me for so long.
Yes, and at this point, you don't remember your lost memories, but there's that feeling that when you've been here, every time you've came here to do this, you've felt the same way, and you've kind of like remembered that sense of loss and that loneliness that you've carried with you, and it's been such a long time.
Yeah, it's that hole. It's just like getting slightly bigger every time. It's not like every time I forget who I'm around, I come here. It's like a sensation that in fact, this hole's getting bigger, sometimes more than others.
Although this time something's a little different. There's like a heat of warmth in there somewhere that wasn't there before.
The hole's been like a perfect circle every time, but this time it's like a crack at the edge. It's like,
And then so the priestess, the grand priestess, is there to let you in, and she's this elegant, 8-armed, slender-looking hermaphrodite. Say she be they, and she welcomes you because you, as a recognised paladin of Euphoria, are welcome here in her service. And indeed, you've been here and spoken to her many times before in the past.
yes. Maleficia. I bow to her.
Ricardo,
To them.
it's such a pleasure to see you here once more.
It's been a long time.
Have you come to pay service to our grand goddess?
I pay service and tribute every day of my life.
Indeed,
Today I
indeed.
come with a request.
Oh, for one such as yourself, I would be more than honoured.
I request an audience of Euphoria.
She was like readying herself in a position for procreation. And then when you say you want an audience, there's a slight tinge of disappointment in her face. Oh,
Well,
yes, that could
if
be arranged
there's
too.
if there's any time we have to wait, I can wait as long as needed.
Yes,
We can spend some quality time.
I
And
shall.
I'll give her a nice, charming smile.
I shall notify her goddess at once. But while we wait, perhaps, and she kind of like motions to this massive lane platform of silken sheets and pillows
And then above the bed is all just a bunch of bondage gear.
and mirrors. Yeah,
And Ricardo, I will gladly acquiesce.
as he
My
puts a
fair
gag
maiden.
in his mouth and ties it behind his head.
Yep. Just walks in and joins her for the. This is one of her demi-goddess who's in charge of BDSM.
Sure.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So Salazar, you're mid-air with your tentacle thing wrapped around you. You're on your shark, and all these other like tendrils are coming out for you, constantly like reaching out and curling around and snapping their way, trying to grab you and pull you into this massive gaping maw of this creature.
I'm just gonna keep flying around it, trying to piss it off until it goes into a rampage.
Alright, so you're trying to provoke it and aggravate it. That's going to be flashy.
Alright.
Do you want to take either a pain or a stress for me in the process of doing this? Because it is tiresome and difficult to keep out of this thing's reach, and also to try and keep it engaged.
I'll lash out at an ally. So Draken is also trying to distract it, right?
Yeah.
One of the arrows comes towards him.
Oh, okay, Draken, do you want to roll defense?
Yeah, sure,
We're back
I
to
don't know
like
what
killing
it's
each other.
Yeah, why would anything be different with it?
It's only those three that do it. They keep trying to kill each other.
It's he went from being suicidal to being mind controlled to kill his comrades to just killing his comrades.
I mean,
Oh,
attacking you guys is a form of suicide.
So I got armor, I got athletic. What else would apply if anything? Would just be a plus
You're
2.
magical, aren't you?
Yes, but I'm half demon. I don't know if that matters.
Yeah, that'd probably give you an extra, so probably be +3.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, you get arrows like coming in your direction. You're not sure if they're like purposeful or not, or maybe you
I'm
are
gonna
sure
assume
that
I'm-
maybe you are sure that they're purposeful, but you're able to avoid them anyway.
No one Salazar was assuming that they're on purpose because this is what he does apparently.
God damn, see, mind controlled again. Okay, so Durdan, after you fail to catch Ricardo midair, you run over to his stiff form, and you can see he's clearly like badly injured. This creature is like slowly turning away from you both. So what do you want to do?
Well, he's gonna pick him up. How long are the tentacles that come out off of this thing? Or like
They can stretch
bug
all the way
ones?
down to the ground in order to pick things up and grab them.
Well, yeah, he'll pick Ricardo up and he'll close in on the thing. I'm wondering if I should use it as like if it would even be able to lift over them. I assume so, if it's got that many of them.
If you've got enough of them around you, yeah. But it doesn't, as you approach it, I mean, the limbs are not coming for you at all. You can see they're very focused on Drakan. You can see them now and again snatching up some of the abominations which are now reaching it and like hoisting them up into the air or speeding through them and dragging them upwards. But it doesn't seem to be bothering with you.
Right, then if two of them can keep pace with it, he'll just try and he'll try and keep Ricardo safe underneath it. While also, if any of the abominations manage to keep past it.
Right, so defending from the swarm basically as they approach.
Yeah. As long as he's not being attacked by it, then that's fine by him.
I'm trying to think what the role would be. It would be kind of defensive. Sorry?
I think it'd be careful because he's trying to make sure he doesn't fall behind this thing above him.
Sure,
But
and keeping him protected at the same time. Yeah, sure, give me careful then.
Oh, shit, cool. It's my stats. Oh no, that deceiver. God damn. My rolls are so bad today.
Jesus, that's bad. Okay,
Yes.
roll your defense for me. And it's not the huge creature above you you're worried about, it's the abominations that are now just throwing themselves in your direction.
I think it'd be +2.
Okay, you're going to take a pain and a stress. You're like, they're coming towards you, you've got the axe in one hand, and you're like cutting them down left and right. But there's a lot of them, an endless amount. And they are strong and fast and just relentless.
I'll freeze up for a moment or two so the thing might be able to like advance without me underneath it.
We'll kind of leave you behind a bit.
Yeah, and I'll cry out loudly in pain.
But yeah, I mean, you find yourself sort of with the swarm getting around you, all cut off from the larger creature, and also cut off from Rise, who you can see is doing something off to the side there. And we'll come back to you just now, Rise. We did go round everyone, didn't we? Because we did drag.
I think so.
I think we just did Drax defense. We didn't actually. When he was getting shot at by.
I mean, you're just continuing to kind of lure it into the
I say my plan is still the same. I'm just throwing it towards
the swarm. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the
I'd like to
swarm
see
is
what
going
it's
to.
doing
Yeah, I mean, the
with
swarm.
abominations.
Sorry?
like to see what it's doing with the abomination. So it's picking them up. Like, what is it doing? Is it eating them? Is it just
Oh,
slinging
it's
them
like
around?
pulling them up and spearing them, crushing them, like pulling. It pulls them upwards and like big wide mouths like open up from its underside, and it just like swallows them.
So it's eating them. It's killing them and eating them. Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
Yeah, and as you're kind of turning it around and leading into it, the swarm like crashes into the feet of this thing. I guess we should probably have a roll with you kind of avoiding the swarm as the swarm kind of catches up with you as well.
I would be ducking in between all of them if they caught up to it.
So, what do you want to roll for that?
I guess I'm trying to be sneaky or quick, one of the two. I'm just trying to keep
Let's
it
go
going
for
at the same time.
quick then, because it probably has more of that. But yeah, I mean, you're going to avoid taking any kind of damage, but you're also going to find yourself sort of like cut off. You're not going to be surrounded, but you're kind of like backing off into sort of like where the rocks and the ruins were, and having to kind of just like dodge and weave and shadow step constantly to try and avoid these things because they're just like popping up everywhere. But yeah, I mean, you're cut off again at a distance from everyone, and everyone is quite separated at this point. And then Rise, you're still there in this sort of like almost a courteous kind of conversation with Volkor.
Has he noticed this creature?
The massive one, he doesn't seem to be bothered at all. He doesn't seem phased at all by this. He seems supremely confident here. I mean, he's got an army of these abominations just like swarming around him. Just like these ferocious creatures, and you know, none of them come anywhere near him. They're just like encircling the both of you and going past and running for other people. But he repeats his question. He's like, "Why are you here, brother?"
I'm here to stand in defense of the dwarves against Hypnos.
The dwarfs? And why would you waste your time with such a pathetic race of mortals?
Restoring the balance between the realms. Remember about that? It seems like you've got your own idea how things should be running across the realms.
Well, given the change in the situation between the realms, brother, we must change tactics. Would you continue to do things as they are, given what the Mages Guild has done, and defiling the sanctity of the realms, opening up portals and passageways so that anyone can follow through?
Well,
Surely that old fool Valakar has mentioned this to you.
yes. And what about Valakar?
And you call me a traitorous swine and you're on his side?
Well, what about him?
Have you ever asked yourself where he is from and which allegiance he actually holds?
I must say, I am suspicious of him.
And rightly so, brother. He is an entity of the void. He is the antithesis to everything we hold dear. Like, he heralds from a realm that wants nothing more than to bring about the true death.
Then why would he be so interested in stopping the spreading of void throughout the realms?
Perhaps his master wishes to consume them all in one. How should I know? But that is not the important. His methods are not important to what we wish to accomplish, brother. He's lied to you all, and I have seen the way. We cannot abide these interlopers traversing through the realms and open up gateways to allow all manner of creatures to defile the balance.
You are right about one thing, Volkor. This is complete chaos. We can't have death. We can't have demons passing through the mortal realm. We can't have all of the realms intertwined with each other. But you're so wrong about everything else. I will not stand with you. I surrendered here. But I will not be your comrade. I have chosen my side.
He lifts up the sword with both hands. Says, "Then so be it, brother." And then he slams the blade into the ground, and cracks like shear out in all different directions, splitting the ground open. All the black sand and ash just like pours into the crevices, and this great violet mana energy just starts emanating from the ground below. You can see all the abominations around you kind of like hulking and convulsing and twitching. So what do you want to do?
I'm waiting for the right moment to counterattack. And also, if I'm able to use my telekinesis to get back my sword, because I've thrown it on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, have a duel with him and defending off the creatures if they attack me as well.
Do you want to roll the duel spell that you have then?
Sure. I'm gonna spend.
Because like pulling in the sword and engaging him in a duel is all kind of like one sort of motion, and you're just using your energies to kind of like pull him in and make him pay attention to what you're doing. Yes, which you will do. Yeah, so you grab your sword, lunge forward towards him, and he's like spins his two-handed sword around his head, and the two blades like clash together, and all these energies spark off them. All the massive abominations around you are like convulsing and swelling and growing in size. New limbs are like spouting out of them, and all the energies coming out from the ground are like entering through their eyes and noses and mouths, all the different orifices, filling them with power from the different planes. So Salazar. So yes. I mean, this thing's enraged. It's turned around. You can see it like picking apart and attacking the swarm, and the swarm are kind of like laying into it at the same time as well. And you can see all these cracks in the ground appear, and this energy coming up from below. You can see your comrades are all kind of separated from each other now as well. So what do you want to do?
Does anyone seem like they're in immediate danger?
I think they're all in danger of being overwhelmed at any moment, yeah.
I guess I'll fly towards Draken, since he's probably the easiest to recover and get somewhere else.
Sure, so Draken... Sorry, you go, mate.
Say what? I'm also the one that can slip away the easiest compared to Ricardo, who's injured, and Durden, who's...
Well,
I just run people over, to be fair.
Well, maybe you can see you down in the ruins, and you can see these things kind of like surging around, and you can see that you're going to be cut off completely on your own. And maybe he's just not thinking that you can chance step.
I was just speaking out loud. He can do whatever he wants, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess not really think about that. He'll, because he's flying around above the creature, he can't really see where Duradan is.
So Duradan's below it, isn't he? Behind it at this point.
He like fell behind a bit, which is why he's getting swarmed.
I guess noticing that Ricardo's not on the back of Sherman anymore, he'll probably go try to find Ricardo.
Sure, okay, and at that point, the creature steps forward, and you can see Jordan getting left behind, surrounded by these abominations. He's cutting them down with the axe in one hand, holding Ricardo under his arm on the other. And Ricardo still looks as stiff as a board out of it.
Head off, fly back there, and I guess just jump off Sherman and have him let loose on the group of abominations around Duradan.
So you're like leaping off, rolling pulling out the bow, shooting as your your shark just like continues on its path and just like plows into them, chomping as it goes.
Yeah, while also telling Sherbert to start swinging the sword around wildly.
This is a very flashy move, so. Yeah, so you're going to manage to do all that, and you plink a couple with arrows. The shark goes into them and starts like biting away at them. Sherbert starts to like turn around with Void Blade and just kind of, without any skill, just wildly just like raking the blade across, like slices one in half. But I mean, there are hundreds of them. They're all over the place. But you're now kind of like shoulder to shoulder with Duradam. And the two of you are kind of like catch each other's eyes, and then there's like a boom, 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 trembling, and you can see like this massive hulking abomination that's like 3 times the size of Duradam just coming along like a massive kind of like gorilla with all these spikes and beaks sticking out the side of it. So what do you want to do, Duradam?
I wonder if this might be excessive, but if I could use my like rune magic, like concussive force one,
Mm-hmm.
could I channel up a lot of mana into that and try to like rend the ground beneath us? Well,
Yeah.
not directly beneath us, but in front of us, so that this thing might fall down.
Yeah, sure.
Or it'll open up a gap, similar to what Falcor did.
Yep.
Except before the
Yep.
powerful
I follow. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yes.
So you spend a mana and make the roll.
And I think I'll put a lot into this.
Based on your rolls, maybe a good idea.
I didn't need that much.
Didn't
Yes,
need any.
so I guess this is just like a fist slam into the ground, yeah?
I was thinking if the Azrak's axe is like conductive to mana in some way,
Sure.
then it could be like the energy like bursts all out of him, channels through his fists, and then into the blade of the axe.
Of course, because this is the axe of the dwarfish warden. So it's, yeah, you find that it is conducive to your energy and like amplifies it to an extent. Yeah, you slam that into the ground and like 3 different directions of the ground kind of split off in front of you, opening up, and not just this big massive gorilla one that kind of like tumbles into the crevice, but all these other ones around them as well, and there's all this kind of screeching and roaring and squalling going on, and like dozens and dozens of them like fall into that deep abyss. It's another hit on the swarm.
Two of them just like lets out a roar of laughter and then continues trying to hack more down.
Ricardo, you're like
Yep.
wiping the sweat from your body, your naked body, as you step off of the platform of silken sheets and pillows. The exhausted
Yep.
high priestess, demigod, kind of like lies there fatigued.
Yep. She doesn't know any mortal creature other than me that can provide that much pleasure to her.
So
But,
I'm after.
so it's fine. I've got a question. Does
Yes.
Falcor, can he see mana like Rise does?
I would think so, yeah.
Well, the aura around Ricardo's getting pinker and pinker and more intense as he's like gotten to the depths of the realm as he's about to meet Euphoria. It's getting very thicker and thicker and thicker as he's
More tense.
literally
yeah.
about to. Yeah, so if he's not paying attention, he might not. He may or may not notice this, but Rise will most definitely notice it.
I mean, imagine they both notice it, but they're like in the midst of a duel of power now. And neither of them can like afford to divert their attention. They're going to need all their skills to match each other.
Yeah. So as he's finally got his body's finally built enough of the energy, he's been through the realm, he's finally gonna summon an avatar of Euphoria to the mortal realm.
Yes, so this massive, cracks go off, the abominations fall into them. There's a brief kind of respite from the swarm and its many attackers. And all of a sudden, you're back in your physical form, Ricardo. You've got full, you've got your faculties back. You can feel the pain of your legs surging through your body. And then standing next to you is just this gorgeous, intoxicating figure of beauty and love and lust, standing completely naked in front of you. She's probably like twice the size of a normal human. And she has like long red kind of hair that just like wraps around her body.
Mm-hmm.
She has very kind of a kind of like a sort of dark complexion of skin, like very heavily tanned. Or maybe like she takes a slightly different form depending on what your vision of beauty really is. But yeah, she's there and she's dazzling and her presence is in front of you. And she gives you that kind of coy smile and the wink that she does when she sees you, Ricardo, just teasing you.
I'll laugh. I'll go back to... What are you saying, Salazar?
Can me or Duridan see her? Or is she only visible to you?
Oh, everyone can see her.
Yep. And all that pink aura that was like coming off me is now coming off her, and I've just got a much duller, like that goldy sort of white aura that I usually... It's much,
I imagine there's like
intense.
an explosion of that kind of energy when she arrives as well.
And any sort of abomination that would touch that energy would just dissolve from it.
Of course, because they are the kind of things that she wants to see destroyed. Yeah, she just like fries them on contact.
Yep. So any of them come near this like spot, it's just getting disintegrated. So Durden's getting a little respite from that.
Yes, so she's there and she acknowledges your presence, Ricardo.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while, my love.
It has, my goddess. I'm sorry. I have not called for you since you've given me a mission over 20 years ago. But I do still praise, I do every night. Any possible chance I can, give blessings to you. I come with a query.
Of course, my love. Ask away.
This curse of mine seems to have a greater toll than I ever thought. Seems not only this eternal life, but also my memories. It seems to be affecting it more dramatically than I ever thought possible.
Oh, this old chestnut. Ricardo, when will you learn? You're always coming to me every few decades with the same problem, the same complaints. Like, why can't you just enjoy the gift I've bestowed upon you?
I do. But this time I was in the middle of the quest you gave me, and I no longer remember those who travelled with me. Or at least they claim. These strangers I don't remember, but the only one that does is my good friend here. I look to Durden to my right.
So first of all, she's like smiling and kind of softly laughing to herself. And she's about to say something, and then you say, except for Durden, I'm here. And the smile just drops from her face. This one, she says, pointing at Durden.
Yes.
You remember, you forget the rest and you remember this one?
I remember everything with him, as I remember every conversation with you, my goddess. I remember the day we met, I remember the adventures.
She looks at you with just a face of sheer like repulsion and disgust, Durdam. And then she looks at you with confusion, Ricardo. And she's looking at something kind of like between the two of you, as if she can see something there connecting you that you can't see. And she looks puzzled and annoyed and frustrated, and that kind of veneer of beauty and calmness and serenity about her kind of like drops. And you can feel like the seething intensity the only like obsession and lust can kind of bring about in someone.
Has she noticed me yet?
Oh no, she's not paying any attention to her.
I want to try to sneak up behind her.
Okay, to do what?
As soon as she's going to attack, I'm gonna try to stab her through with the void blade.
Okay, I mean you can get around above and behind her, no problem, and it doesn't seem like she knows you're there. And you're kind of just like readying yourself in a position in case you need to do something. I'm saying above, you're not in your shark. Well, maybe you are in your shark now.
No, I was with Duradan still.
Yeah, but I mean, you would have had the opportunity to jump in the shark if you wanted to now. That's up to you. But you're able to get around behind her without her bothering too much. She's preoccupied and, you know, you're not much of a threat to her. Yes, but she's like seething with anger and you can kind of see that flaring up in her eyes. And Ricardo, you've seen this before somewhere in your past and you can remember the jealousy that she's capable of. Yeah, and we'll come
I don't
back.
remember why she was jealous before, but I remember she was jealous once.
Yes, you've seen her like this before somewhere in the past and it's terrifying. So Rise, you have like clashed swords with Volkor. The ground is opened up and these abominations are swelling and then some explosion of energy is going off to the side here. But you're, you know, exchanging blades and blows with Volkor.
Yeah, it's a complete chaos on the battlefield.
So you've successfully engaged them in this duel. So what's your maneuver?
Am I still surrounded with the abominations?
Yes, but as you said, like chaos is breaking out. There's this big, massive towering creatures like scooping them up, crushing them in 10 at a time. They're surging all over it and clambering up its legs. This explosion of energy is like frazzled and created a massive empty area of just like charred carcasses. And the ground is like opened up and started to swallow them as well. And then the ones around you are kind of like mutating and growing. So there's a lot kind of like going on, yes, but so they're not immediately on you. And maybe Volkor kind of like wants you to himself. Or maybe he's just like granting you that respect, you know, because you are kind of equals.
Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna continue exchanging the blows, looking for a weak spot, doing some serious damage, cutting off a hand, disarming him, something like that.
Okay, so forceful. Let's go for forceful. You've been really good with these today.
With the Astral Knight background fill into this one.
Actually, yes, I think so, because you're fighting another astronaut.
Yeah.
And you're looking for a weakness as well, yeah. Yeah, much better.
Why is it every time he's rerolled a fail, he's rerolled like a 10
10, I
plus?
know, it's crazy.
It's the third time he's done a reroll for that.
Yes, you inflict a serious wound on him. So that could be disabling a limb or something if you want. If you want to describe it.
Yeah, so we are exchanging a few blows, parrying each other, until I cut off a hand that's wielding the sword. So I'm aiming for that his sword also falls on the ground as I'm cutting off the hand.
Yeah, you slice, you know, through where his grip is, severing it at the wrist, and he lets out a kind of gasp of pain, or more surprise than pain itself, and he pulls away and spins around, and with the one hand he kind of like spins his sword around. He's not got as much power or control in it, but he's still wielding it. Like turns around at a distance, facing you, and like looks down at his wrist. Well met, brother. Your skills have improved since we last met. But
Well, thanks.
Sorry, go.
Thank you for the compliment.
But
Are you afraid?
Afraid? And he like holds the wrist that's missing a hand up, and you can see like this purple energy coming out of his wrist and forming its own sort of hand. No, but I am interested now at least. And he throws out his hand towards you with a burst of energy that you just narrowly kind of dodge to the side.
Did he cast a spell that I counterattacked?
Yeah, so what's the nature of your counterattack then?
Yeah, that was the first one. Well, I'm gonna place another ward at him if in case he casts some other spell. And well, now I know he can restore a limb, but that's also putting a strain on his mana and his stamina. So I'm gonna continue weakening him, tire him, expose him more.
Do you want to roll another counter spell then?
Yeah, and I'm thinking more of a being clever, fighting clever.
Sure. I mean, if you get a 6, it won't matter. Yeah, 12, okay. Yes, I mean, this time he knows you've done something to him. Kind of like in retaliation. But there's nothing like he can do about that. It's been done to him. And maybe like the sigil of the hex or the warding kind of like just like glows a kind of bright green on the shoulder of his armor, and he looks down at it for a second, and then he reaches up and he pulls off his helmet, and you can see this symmetrically perfect humanoid face, almost kind of elvish looking, with short black hair that's like tied up in a knot. And he like shakes back his head and lifts up his sword and spins it around in the air and grasps it with his sort of energy hand this time. And then he just goes, "Rah!" and charges towards you. So Durdam and I suppose Draken and Salazar. So Salazar, you're in the back of this goddess just waiting. Drakan, you see this figure appear in the midst of this blast of energy, and it's talking to Durdam and Ricardo, and you're just kind of like lurking in the shadow. Is there anything you want to do? You can also see the duel going on between Rise and Volkor.
Is there anything else? I see like maybe like a second in command or something or anything like that, or is it just Falcor controlling all these?
It seems to be Valkor, but all around him, all the creatures that are kind of immediately around him in the vicinity of these cracks in the ground are like mutating and growing.
What about a chariot? What's it doing? Is there anything different about it, or is it just a chariot?
It's like this big, very heavy iron chariot with these 6 mutations, abominations chained to it.
Is there anything on it, or is it just anything in particular? Or no. Like a box or anything? Maybe he was carrying something with him.
No, I don't think anything like that. No.
Can I steal the chariot then?
You could try and sneak around to his chariot, get on it, and ride off with it. I suppose you could try that. You could also lend assistance to Rise, or I don't know, do something else.
I think I'm gonna try to like unchain it, the abominations from the chariot, so that he couldn't just like hop on it and ride away. How about that?
Sure. Do you want to give me your sneaky roll then?
In case he tries to run away from Rise, it won't be easy.
Sure. So you're like trapping him there. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I think you're able to do that. You're able to get around there. You're able to like unhook the thing. Any mutations are kind of like charge off to attack wherever they can fucking find an attack. In fact, one of them like turns around, because it knows you're there, and now you're faced with this kind of bull-like abomination in front of you, and it has an array of just like 6 horns sticking out at different angles from its face, haphazardly, not any kind of symmetry to them at all. And it has snarling fangs and such. And it lowers its head and like charges towards you. Do you want to roll defense for me?
I was trying to think of what I wanted to do besides just defense, though. But yeah, I can roll defense while I'm thinking. For the +3.
Yeah, take a pain or a stress, but you manage to like avoid the charge and shadow step away. Maybe it's just like a glancing hit or just the stress of the situation.
I'm just gonna like lose my footing, so it kind of like knocks me to the side, maybe. Since you said it lowered its horn and charged at me, so I guess when I was trying to like jump out of the way, I just fall on the ground instead.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and it smashes into the chariot and just like dents the thing, and it like rears its head up, and the chariot is like skewered and attached to it by the horns, and it's rolling its head backwards and forwards with this massive iron thing attached to the front of it.
I think I'm just gonna use this distraction to get away. Like I'm just gonna saddle step onto the other side of Rise and them building.
Yeah, sure. Get around the back of them.
I'm not trying to kill these abominations. Many for that.
Sure. So Ricardo,
Yes.
I try to remember where we are within all these conversations.
Yeah.
The goddess was
Euphoria's
getting-
getting.
Yes, she's
She's
furious
getting
and accusing like, what is this thing? I'm pointing to Duradam. You remember this thing? That can't be. And then she like demands of you, Duradam, to explain yourself, identify yourself.
Them just kind of like not realizing why she's so mad. He just kind of like bows to her and says, like, "I'm Duradam of the Dwarves. I'm quite distinct, as you can tell. Maybe that's why he remembers me."
Perhaps if she was in a slightly better mood, she would find this like amusing almost, but this just seems to infuriate her further. You can like see her and she's like swelling, like she's growing in size as she's getting angrier. And her hair is like positively swirling around her and like cackling with energy at this point.
He is my friend. That's all that matters, isn't it?
Oh, it's more than that, isn't it, Ricardo?
He's a friend I love and cherish. But
And-
there's only one person I love more than all. The truest love is to you, my goddess.
She's like,
I love you for all eternity.
she
For every
pauses.
day I live and thrive.
She absolutely screams. She's like, "That's impossible! You cannot love this thing."
He's a great friend. How can I not love a great friend?
Because I forbid it. You are not allowed to love.
But I love you.
And only me, she screams. Not this abomination, this construct. It's impossible. It's unnatural.
He has a heart. He feels, he cares, he loves.
It does no such thing. It is a creation, an animation.
I've seen that love, and I protest it myself. I've seen it in too many. You too can feel it, Euphoria, and you know it. You can feel the love coming off him.
She like spits in his
Maybe the-
direction.
He may be a construct, but he is one that can love.
No, I will not have it. Ricardo, you will prove your love to me now, once and for all, by destroying this abomination.
That I cannot do, my goddess. Because you forbid me to kill a creature of love. Creature that can feel love. I cannot go against your teachings, your word, your honor, even if it is to defy what you say, you know.
She like positively like hisses at the pair of you. She just glowers down at you, Duradam, and she's like towering above you now, standing next to you.
My goddess, he's the key to to the mission that you gave me to save the dwarves. He is their
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, go. Jordan wants to interrupt.
Like, Durden's energy just kind of cackles and he yells at the goddess. Like, we didn't call you here to discuss love. We need to know how to lift the curse. Who did this to him?
The curse. She like hisses down at you. I am the one who cursed him, you fool.
Can I use that moment to jump off Sherman and stab her in the back with the sword?
Sure. You jump on Sherman to stab her in the back. She reflexively like stretches out her left arm towards you, and a bolt of bright pink energy flashes through the air and strikes you like lightning. You take a wound.
Durden's going to take that opportunity to try and punch her.
Jordan, what are you doing? I'll immediately grab him as I see him standing up to charge at her.
Yeah, he pulls his fist back to punch her. You leap forward to get in the way and take the blow.
I'll be bleeding heavily.
Jordan, you
So
can,
will I.
you can decide if that's a wound that he takes or a pain. I don't know how hard you were punching her.
I think that he was be able to react to Ricardo like, getting in the way, and he wouldn't want to wound him more than he already is.
Okay, so a pain.
I think it'd be softened enough, yeah.
He gets knocked to the ground.
And
Pain.
as this happens, she like, both of her hands go up to her face and she just gasps like she's like, impossible.
I'll do anything for you, my goddess. But I will not kill my friend. Not kill anyone I cherish. I don't know how many I've cherished in the past. How many people I've felt kinship or even love for. And I wish all of them the best, no matter what.
She gradually kind of like shrinks in size again, and now she's sad and tears are in her eyes and rolling down her cheeks.
My love for you, no matter what, will always be eternal. And I will see never see harm to you, no matter what. I only wish the best for you, my goddess. I wish the best for all those around me.
She sobs, and I you. Oh, Ricardo, how wrong of me to have cursed you like this all these years.
Yeah, you can never hear that she cursed him. You just hear silence anytime she speaks of the curse.
She turns to you, Jordan, and she says, please look after him for me.
And what of the curse? And he's still like trembling, like energy like blasting out of him, like he's holding himself back from attacking her.
She walks over to Ricardo and like cups his head in her hands, and she leans down and kisses him softly in the forehead and removes the curse.
Two of them doesn't know this, so he's just standing there like, well.
I mean, she removes the curse, Ricardo, but you're not going to like shrivel up and die that second. You'll live out the rest of your lifetime, like
The memories,
a regular
the
lifetime.
flood of memories would kill him. He'd remember everything he's forgotten, all the lovers of the past, all the loves of the past, and it'll kill him. His brain will just shut
Well,
down.
she's amending the curse then, so that that doesn't happen. From now on, you'll be able to remember and love,
Oh,
but you won't live forever anymore.
the mortality's gone.
Finally, you'll be able to die and pass on to her realm.
Mhm.
Salazar's gonna do something reckless and try to shoot her now.
Sky Salazar.
Okay, you knock a bow, Salazar, and let it fly, and then she's gone.
And then, of course, the arrow, if he shoots it, will end up hitting me.
You said that, not me, so roll defense. You're
not
magical, he's
combat.
not, correct?
Yeah, I'm the only one
Yes.
who's not magical.
I'm magical. I've got chainmail, and I am agile.
Okay, take a pain or a stretch, your choice.
I'll take an arcane as an arrow hits me in the arm.
God damn it, Salazar.
And I go, Salazar, what are you doing?
I was
I'll
trying
cry
to
out loud. I'll cry out loudly in pain because I cry at Salazar. Ah, Salazar, what are you doing?
I was trying to fend off the false goddess.
She is not a false goddess. She is a real one. That was an avatar of her down on Earth. You can't kill her or hurt her here, but yeah, I still would never see her in pain. Ah, wait. I don't remember you. I remember you. Salazar! Timothy! I remember you both.
Timothy.
And the two of them is like, wait, what about Rives? What about Dakan?
And there's like clashes of energy from the battle going on behind you. This like epic battle of like sorcerer warriors going on that nobody else is like paying attention to whatsoever.
Well, Ricardo's going to pull out his healing potion and drink it so he can get back into the fight.
I'm gonna also drink my healing potion before my bleeding gets too bad.
So it's a D4 heal, is it?
It's D4 wounds and all your pain.
I had to roll 2, which is all my pain, all my wounds. And all I have is I have 1 stress and everything else is pain. I was 1 away from a gut check. So I was like, literally, if I took any more damage after that arrow, it'd be a gut check.
So I mean, there's still
Was it
a surging swarm of abominations which are now closing the distance after her disappearance. There's a cadre of them which are like hulking monstrosities, just jacked full of fucking extraplanar energy that's made them huge and massive and terrifying. And in the middle of that is Volkor, helmetless, battling with Rise. So Rise, he screamed and charged at you. You kind of clash blades a few more times. What now?
Drakan is riding a chariot passing by, right?
No, he
I
unhooked.
freed the abominations from it, so he can't just hop on it and ride away.
Yeah, he's like effectively disabled the chariot.
Oh, okay. Well, as I'm parrying him, I'm gonna parry his attack, and then I'm gonna use my telekinesis to throw a chariot at him.
Alright, just pull it over and slam it into him. Cool, give me a roll. Yes, you reach out, the chariot comes like searing through the air towards him at speed, like a freight train about to hit him. He extends his energy hand out to just like halt it midair, and at that point the ward on his shoulder just like lights up as you prevent him from actually casting his magic, and the thing slams into him and he goes tumbling towards one of these big openings of energy in the ground and slams into one of the giant mutations. His armor's all dented and crushed and he drops his sword.
And then I'm gonna, as quickly as I can before he recovers, I'm gonna launch a quick attack while he's disarmed.
Sure, just like a flurry of blows.
Yeah, giving everything I have.
Okay, give me a quick roll. Sure, yeah, so you leap over, charge into him, flurry of blows, cracking through the armor. He's got his arms held up across the front of him weakly, trying to protect himself from your attack. and you're just like blow after blow cutting into him, bloody and bloody. And then this hulking monstrosity the size of a building behind you just like wraps its massive claws around your body and hoists you up into the air. And at this point, this is when everyone else kind of like joins in. So what do you guys want to do?
Well, before we charge in, I'm going to bless everyone's weapons.
I don't think you can bless everyone's weapons.
Not, you know, like the three of us, me, Salazar, and Durham.
Yeah, I don't think you have time to bless all three of them.
Also, didn't you like when you let go of your rapier before, the blessing faded quite quick anyway?
Yeah. If you let go of your weapon, the blessing will fade.
I mean, does it not need to be held by you?
No?
No, because he
Nope.
blessed Salazar's before.
Ah, right.
Yep. It's just as soon as you let go of the blessing will fade. It lasts an arrow for like a few seconds in the air, but then it'll dissipate.
Yeah, but I don't think you can bless the sword though, since it's cursed. Can you?
No, I won't be able to bless a cursed sword.
So just do it.
So it would just be Durham's axe and my rapier. Yeah. So I'll just put 2 mana into this. Well, good thing I put 2 mana into it.
Yes, do.
It's like minus
Yeah,
1 to minute.
minus one things. Okay.
So I'll bless both our weapons before we charge in. And I imagine is that things like Grab Rise, we're doing the whole cool like anime thing where we literally just like, appear jumping behind it as we slash it down. And let him finish off his duel.
Forceful, quick. I think you could choose either one.
It's both +1 for me. I'm assuming because we're multiples doing it advantage.
Yes.
So +1, so that's a 9.
That is a wound. And since you're like slashing down, I shouldn't you like just like sever the limb that's holding him, and he drops to the ground with the limb still kind of like grasping him, just like twitching with the nerves to release him as he lands. The creature like turns around. You can already see like the tendrils of energy coming out from where the limb was cut off, and it kind of starts to form like an energy version of the limb.
We've got this, Rise. You can finish off Volkor. We'll take care of this.
The big, massive, towering creature like fully turned around by now, and is just like scooping up these abominations by the handful and just like shoving them in its mouth, pulling them up into its underbody, swallowing them whole and absorbing them. They're like crawling all over it, and it's just like picking them off one at a time and sweeping and scooping them all into its maw. Just like they're like little bits of candy. By now it's like lumbering over towards where the fight is going on, is almost towering above you all.
Salazar will jump back on Sherman to get into the air to try to keep most of the some of the abominations away from the rest of them.
So you're doing that kind of thing you were doing earlier, where you're like flying around and just letting off tons of arrows to create openings.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can give advantage to whoever's doing something next. So I'm guessing Rise or Drakan, because Drakan's kind of not in the focus of everyone.
I kind of stay in the shadows and interfere unless I have to. So like if something gets too close to the eyes or something, maybe I would intercept.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I'm not doing anything.
Well, I mean, you see Rise had Volkor down, it was like, you know, close to finishing him, beating him down, but then this thing came and grabbed him and lifted him in the air. But at that moment, Volkor is still kind of vulnerable on his back, crushed against this chariot, and beaten down, smashed by Rise's blows. And you're kind of unnoticed at this moment if you want to try something.
Yeah, I'll try to assassinate his ass then. And that's what I do.
So what's the nature of this assassination?
Just like, I guess, come out of the shadows of the chariot next to him.
Literally come up beside him and what?
Yeah. I guess he took his helmet off, didn't he? He said.
He did, yes.
Just try to like slit his throat before he even notices I'm there.
So definitely sneaky. And Salazar's giving you advantage, so you've got advantage.
3 dice plus 1. Roll. I re-roll that with my background?
I mean, you've got 7. So
I'm gonna re-roll that. Oh, can you not re-roll it if it's a succeed then?
yeah, you can't if it's a success. You would only do it if it's a failure. So you still succeed. You're still causing a wound.
Damn. Alright.
So yeah, are you step out of the shadows, blade? I mean, do you say anything to him before you cut his throat?
No, I don't say anything to him. One moment he's alone, the next moment I'm stabbing a blade at his neck.
Yeah, the only thing he manages to do before you like slice his throat is to grab your wrist with his gauntlet hand, and you can feel like a burning sensation as he does so, and he turns his head to look up at you, and that's when you just cut his throat. And his body just, without any show of energy or anything glamorous or special, he just like slumps, a dead body just like any other.
As he is bleeding out, I'm gonna quickly take my soul catching orb that I was given by Valakar, and I'm gonna approach him and do the thing with the soul catching orb.
Yeah, you extend out. I think it was like an onyx gem, wasn't it? And you can see, well, you can see, I don't think anyone else can see it. You can see his like life force going to wherever it's destined to go. Toward, if he has a deity or something that would go towards that realm. But instead, you hold out this gem, and you can hear the anguish in it as it kind of just gets like sucked into the gem, just like a Ghostbusters ghost trap. And as his soul energy is sucked in like this, the abominations all around start to shriek and squall and cry and look up to the sky, and all these energies just like exit from their physical forms, and they all start to like swirl around in the sky and just slowly like fade away and dissipate into the air. The only thing left is this big massive hulking creature, and it just like a massive vacuum cleaner just like starts hoovering up all of this planar energy that's floating around and absorbing it, until it's just you guys, a bunch of rotting corpses everywhere, and this massive hulking creature standing over you, gorging itself on the life energies.
We should probably leave before it decides to try to eat us.
Yeah. Or we need to find some way to return it back to its realm, or get it out of this one at least. And I'll look to Drakan.
I don't have any way of getting it out of you.
Said your blood can open portals.
I mean, I knew how it happened.
Guys, you're a specialist in interdimensional?
I don't know. I do not know how to return this creature back to its realm, but I've seen many portals, many pockets opening up. If we could lure it into the pocket, that we
Pocket's
could be
here.
successful. Yeah.
We need to open a portal of our own. I don't think we can have one, even if it's temporary. These pockets are too small for a creature of this size to go through.
Well, the massive cracks in the ground the energies were coming from are still open.
I need to somehow lure it into the cracks if we're going to do that.
Lure it into cracks. Yeah. Somehow push it into the cracks. Either way, it might work.
Out of character, if the energies are coming from there anyway, wouldn't it be drawn to them?
Yeah, it's like gorging itself on them as they're seeping through.
Kinda need to kill it.
I don't think we can kill it. I think we just need to push it through a crack.
I mean, what even happens if we touch it? Has anyone even tried getting that close to it yet?
Well, we saw what happened to the abominations when they touched it. They were climbing up its frame, so at least the outer skeleton's fine.
Yeah, but I mean, look at it. It doesn't have any, they didn't do anything to it. It doesn't have any wounds or anything, does it?
No, I
No,
mean,
but if we can
there's like scratches and dents in it and stuff, but like there's no blood or anything like that.
If we can like hit its legs and just knock it through, that's probably the only thing we could do. Unless if we can't summon like a gate in front of it, we have to knock it through on these fissures.
And if it's feeding on the life force and the bodies, if we pile up the bodies, it might be drawn to the pile and then push it inside, lure it into the cracks.
Maybe.
It didn't seem to pay attention to me when I was carrying Ricardo. I don't know if that means it won't follow us. If it follows any of you, we could try and leave it above a crack, and then Ricardo and I can try and knock it over.
Gonna knock it over.
Well, sounds like a plan because this creature, it does not belong here. And imagine if this creature gets into heavily populated regions. It could be cataclysmic. We need to get rid of this.
Who's drawing it, taunting it, distracting it?
Well, I guess Ricardo will do it. He'll volunteer.
Okay, flashy Ricardo, as loudly and proudly as you can.
+1 for Flashy. It's a 9.
You do so, but take a pain or stress in doing so, because you're constantly having to like avoid the appendages stretching down, trying to spear you and grab you.
Oh, was this? Would I get advantage from a blessed weapon against this thing?
Not this thing, no.
Yeah, it's the abominations I get it for. No, thought so.
This thing is actually a very important part of the universe life cycle, so it's not an abomination.
Yeah, I knew. I thought that. So I imagine I'm just like taking so many strikes and blows, like just cuts and bruises. So I'll just take pain.
Yes, but you successfully get it kind of like lumbering, staggering over one of the largest of these crevices. And you can see like the swirling vortex of energies deep below.
Just a little closer.
Let's do this together. Durden, you're quite strong. Salazar, you have a big shark. I could use my telekinesis.
I am not bringing Sherman anywhere near that thing.
We just need to knock it over.
You've got Sherbert's tentacles.
Isn't this thing like, I don't know, like 15 stories tall? Is that what we're talking
Yes,
about?
it's very big, yeah.
I'm still wondering how, even with Durden's strength, we're supposed to knock that over.
You bash it. If two of you like simultaneously take out like a couple of legs on one side, it'll topple.
Look, he's bashing it and he's going to telekinesis it at the top to kind of knock it off balance.
Have you ever seen someone like they step up a stair and there's a carpet there they weren't expecting?
You're just gonna go stand in front of one of its foot and hope to knock it over?
I'm just hoping like a wee bit of distance to its gates will be enough to tip over.
He has 6 legs, so I think you're gonna have to do it to multiple, like he said at one time.
So let's have you're damn forceful, slamming into it with your charge. Let's have Rags doing a telekinesis.
They're gonna do that to 2 legs on one side. Can I do something else on the opposite side? To, like,
Sure.
push it that way.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna summon, use my phantasmal spell to summon like something like so it'd be just as big as it. To charge into its side.
But yeah, because of course yours has like a physical kinetic presence now as well. Yeah, give me a roll for that as well.
As soon as he hits it, it'll disappear. So.
Yeah, I mean Durdan's going to like smash into it with enough force to kind of get it shaky to begin with.
I guess I'll help by tying a rope around one of its legs and trying to pull it.
Oh, would you bring your shark kind of weaving between the legs?
Yeah, like I'm gonna do a Star Wars to it.
Yeah, of course. I guess you'd roll quick for that, Salazar. Alright, so for the 9, the 8, and the 9, you guys are going to do it, but you're going to take like a stress while you're doing it.
So I'll take it.
I'll miss something important.
Oh, so I mean, what you miss is that the way you're tying it up and the way it's going to topple, you've forgotten all about Ricardo, who's there at the very edge of the ravine.
I'm sorry, Ricardo. It happened again.
So it's kind of shaky. It's got all this rope between it, so that when it starts to like wibble, it completely like loses balance at the base of its legs. The telekinesis from the top is just kind of like sending it to topple. Coupled with the force from the phantasm also kind of like adding to that, just completely like shoving it over, and it's going to like topple and fall into the ravine just perfectly as you want it to, except Ricardo is kind of going to go with it. And Ricardo, you quickly find yourself falling down this ravine. You're kind of like falling after this thing because the mass of its body is kind of like falling over below you at a different angle. You've just got the legs kind of like around you as it's falling down. But you quickly find yourself off balance and falling in as well.
I'll quickly try and stab my rapier into the ravine wall, and if this fails, Ricardo is dead.
Let's go for it quickly. Well, I mean, he'll be dead, but he'll be in
It'll be, well, you know, he'll be summoned to another realm, and he'll be out this campaign. Oh, he lives with an 11. He makes the rapier into the wall.
Drive your rapier into the wall, and kind of like when you were falling off the floating island, you're just like hanging there on the edge.
Oh, the blessed rapier, of course, bleeding out my other arm, so
with your leg completely mangled. Oh no,
well,
you took a healing potion. That's right. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's just the bleeding I've got from all the scars and from the tentacle scrapes.
I can imagine.
I've got.
Yeah, Durdam, you just see Ricardo go over the edge.
I am going to take a stress for this because this is like terrifying. I'm over the edge.
Very glad that we got all the failings out the way early.
So, what's your reaction, Durdam, when you see him go over the edge?
Two of them just rushes over to the edge and tries to like skid to a halt right at the lip of it. And he's reaching his arm down like, Ricardo! Like thinking he's like falling right the way in.
And you can see him just a few meters down, sword dug into the wall, and he's just like dangling there hanging.
Friend, could you help us back up?
Just walk down and help him back up, since I can just walk on the side of the wall.
Yeah, like two of them like rummaging about for rope and the cans of the box and
climbs down the wall, just
spider crawls down. Hey
and
buddy, you okay there?
Out the wall. Thank you for the assist, Sir Khan.
You know, did it once, might as well do it twice.
I was hoping you noticed I'd been saying your names after the goddess gave back memories.
I'm assuming, like, since your plan was to call her to lift the curse, I'm just assuming that it worked. Because I don't know what really happened.
Because the only person who told me their name was Rise. Salazar and Drakan never said their names to him after he lost his memory of them.
Oh, that's right.
Two of them did like mutter them to himself when he was counting on his fingers. But yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not going to pay attention to you naming things.
Oblivious.
Yeah, oblivious. The only one I knew the name was Rise because I asked him his name and he told me. Like, and that's why when I was talking to Salazar and Drakan there, I mentioned their names. He remembers.
Yeah, so you're left surrounded by the lifeless husks, the rotting carcasses, just biomass of what were the abominations, the energies that kept them animated, gone.
At least these filthy abominations are gone.
Yes. I don't know if you remember, Ricardo, but you were talking about hope. This is something, you know? This creature here, we possibly saved hundreds of lives. And Volkor and his abominations, This is a huge victory today. It sparks hope.
Yes. I do remember. My dear goddess has given me my recent memories back. I remember you all.
That means
I'm glad.
she was the one that cursed you.
Yeah.
Looks at Rai silently.
Do you think Volcora's body might have any clues about Hypnos' plan?
No. From the conversation with him, I figured he was having his own mission. I don't think he was in allegiance with Malekith, at least not directly. I was mistaken. I don't think he has anything to do with Hypnos. But maybe if you'll find out more with Karak-Lak, in the end, he's dealt with.
You're telling
Yes.
me coincidence?
Sorry, Bird, you're going really quiet for some reason.
Am I any better
That's a bit better, yeah.
now, or
Yeah, that's you back to where you were.
I've just messed with my mic jack? But anyway, yeah. So you're telling me it's coincidence that he massacred the dwarves at Kenildar?
I don't know. Could be. Maybe he was looking for a weakness to grow his army, and the dwarves were weakened. But he was coming here after us, not towards the Karak-Lak, and he didn't consider Malekith his he didn't consider himself as a general of Malekith like Hypnos and the rest. I think he was performing his own plan.
Now we've put a stop to it. As you said, hope lives today. Tomorrow, and the day after, it shall live, continue to live. Now,
Should we
Karak-Lak.
bury his body or anything? I mean, he was a member of your order or something, right?
He was, unfortunately. But he was a disgrace. He was a traitor. I'm gonna take his sword, and I'm gonna catch up with you later. I'm gonna summon the council. You continue your path towards Karak-Lak. I'm gonna find you.
We shall continue forth.
If there's nothing else anyone wants to say to each other, we can just call it the effort tonight.
Yeah, that's fine. I was about to spill off like the origins of the curse and all that, but then in the middle of the conversation, it got interrupted with, "Hey, that's your dead buddy over there. Do you want to bury him?" I'm like, "Conversation's dead."
I lost my moment, damn it.
Sorry.
Yeah. Can't remember who cut in to say it, and I'm just like, God damn it. I'm like, well, no way that's coming up again anytime soon.
I mean, you could start the next one doing it.
It'll be like in a fireside chat, probably. Someone will have to bring it up to him.
I mean, you still got to walk to Karak-Lak, so because no
Yeah.
airship.
Look, we only destroyed 3 of them. Go on, Bert.
3 so far.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I was deliberating whether or not Duvidin would say anything about like, it being his own goddess that cursed him. But then Rives did, so I feel like maybe if it's odd being broached. We'll
Yeah,
see.
but never got. As soon as I was about to give the answer, it got butted in. I'm like, oh, well, not gonna be answering now.
Yeah, but that's what he's saying. Like Jordan would like ask you when you were walking anyway.
Probably.
Okay,
Yeah.
everyone gets an XP. Anyone do a drive?
Yeah, I did.
I don't think I did.
I guess so, if the giant thing counts as a monster.
Yes, it does.
I've well, Volkor is executed.
I actually did 3 of my drives in one session. Quite impressed.
Yeah, you only get 1 XP though.
I know. Still.
Okay, so if that's
Oh
it,
yeah, I also got more monsters. So that counts too.
yeah. I mean, you only get
Stalking.
1 XP as long as you get 1. So
Stopping an abomination horde be considered a redemption? Otherwise, I don't think I did.
redemption, you killed Volkor. You saved, kind of saved Rise and killed Volkor.
I'll take that then.
You gave him the chariot as a weapon, and then you
Yeah,
committed the
you also
finishing blow.
did. You also did that. Helped him out by doing the chariot.
Did not expect him to do that. That was not part of the plan.
Characters.
He also,
that...
he also,
There you go, sir.
he also technically saved Ricardo from falling to his death.
Yes.
That's like normal party stuff. I wouldn't consider that redemption.
Yeah, I think killing the bad guy kind of counts because you're taking a step to kill them. Characters that did something awesome. Go.
The entire Falcor fight, like particularly Rise, obviously, and that. I also I liked the teamwork to topple it at the end, and the can. It's a weird like kind of lore thing, but just the can like screwing himself over by telling everyone about his blood was fun too.
I agree with advice. 1, 2. I think he should get one for that.
The thing with Ricardo going through his goddess's realm.
That was pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, Ricardo's stuff was pretty awesome, and I liked it how Salazar tamed the what's his name, Sherbert.
Sherbert, yeah.
That was good. We're all like
Ricardo's
terrified of this
getting
thing, and we're like, just keep
He's
it
just
away
pet-
from us.
yeah.
Don't let it kill us. He's like tickling its chin.
Also, while it was stupid, I liked how suicidal it was against Euphoria. Euphoria.
Yeah, I can't believe all these are attacking my goddess. I can't believe it.
I feel like that was a little bit like people using outside knowledge to do that, in my opinion. You'd have no reason to attack his goddess because you wouldn't suspect she'd be the one who cursed him. He called her there to help him.
Oh
I
no,
mean-
no, she said that.
Well,
She was being right wrathful. She did say she put the curse on before they attacked her.
She also like didn't declare herself of who she was, so you just saw this big giant person, then get like angry at him and yelling at him and stuff.
Well, from my perspective, but from like the group of 3, he did address her as his goddess, so they would have known.
Yeah, like
I
that was
immediately said my goddess.
yeah, that was
like
more
name.
why. That was more why Durden was that angry. Like
well, Salazar this
my
entire
dad-
time has just been kind of aggressive towards anyone who's religious that doesn't follow his religion.
I
Like,
did love Durden getting angry for Ricardo's sake. I loved that.
like
So sweet.
Ricardo was just like being different to this goddess the entire time, and she just got mad at him and called Durden disgusting and just was like hurling abuse at them pretty much, and then finally admitted that she cursed Ricardo, and he's like he got cursed by his own god and went to go.
I guess I missed that part because when I was listening, I didn't hear her admit that she cursed him. She just said she would lift the curse finally. Like
Oh
she
no,
had
no, because
helped him before.
Durden like got out of her without like directly asking her, and she was just like, "I cursed her."
Oh, okay. I missed that part. I guess. My bad.
That's when Durden got angry.
Okay,
Yeah,
that
that's
makes
why I
more
said it was
sense.
real. I said I felt sweetened that Durden got angry for Ricardo's sake.
Okay, so I think everyone gets one for the awesome part. Party overcame notable enemy or task. Yes, everyone gets one for that one. Learned something new about one of the characters. I think we learned about Ricardo.
There was a lot of that going on during.
We learned about the can as well, I guess.
Oh yeah, when he let it slip about his blood.
The blood.
Blame Ricardo for that. He was like, "You should open up," and then I opened up. And I'm like, "Fuck."
Shit,
Yeah.
this is what I was
Ricardo
like,
got you.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is why I
Ricardo
don't do
got you
that.
to. That's what Ricardo does. He got the whole group of us to bond right at the start of the session. It was so great, and then he forgot everyone but Durdham. It's like, it was so perfect.
It was not how I expected to go with the goddess, though. I thought she was, other than getting like jealous, she was just going to be like, "Oh, you only remember him because he's an object."
Yeah,
No,
honest.
God's
And
are
honest,
on your ground.
yeah, gods are fickle.
Gods
That
are
was like my weakest
petty
part of the
and
session.
stuff, man.
The goddess bit was my like weakest part of the session, I think.
I think if we take like outside knowledge, I think she cursed him because he loved someone else besides her or something like that. So it would make sense to me if he's like, "Yeah, I remember him." He's like, "Well, that's not supposed to happen."
Oh, that's not why he was cursed though.
Oh,
He was
I thought
cursed
that
because he did fall in love with someone, but that's not why she was like angry at him. He fell in love with someone who didn't actually love him. She was just being manipulated and pretending to love him. And then when it all came out in the revelation, he was going to kill himself
Okay, that's
because
different
he
from the
felt.
last time you told me about it,
That's
which is
what.
why I
That's
went
what.
for the
Uh,
jealousy thing.
no, that's what I told you like 2-3 weeks ago. Told you about this.
Oh, I thought I remember hearing like when you first.
Yeah, when we first created the character, that's sort of the joke, and then like weeks later, I told John this was like the way it was actually his curse. It's like no, she gave it a love and sympathy, but it's like over the years, yeah, because it's like Ricardo's like over 1,000 years old. He's like ancient, and over the years, she's just loved him more, seen the tragedy, and is now like jealous of it. It's like she's now very possessive because gods are very fickle.
As well as like it's daring to love something that is like off limits as well.
Yeah, because at this point, because she loved him before because he was like born to be a saint, or like her. And that's why she's always like had a great passion for him. And then of course when his heart was broken, and it's like he felt betrayed, and he's like everything his belief since he was born was like shattered with that. He was just going to kill himself, and that's why she made him forget. And then of course the downside is that he's forget everyone ever uh, he could ever love. And of course she made him immortal so he couldn't kill himself. And then of course over the years she gets more possessive, more loving, and then it's more like normal psycho god shit. Yeah, he was going to explain that to you if I wasn't interrupted.
Yeah.
Does Ricardo still having an astral beacon trait?
I think it's just going to shrink, and it takes like time to dissipate.
Well, he's still got
So it's
Astral
no longer.
Beacon, so yeah, it's because he's still blessed. He's still a paladin.
I said I think it's no longer like the big mega beam, but it's slowly over time. It's going to get smaller and smaller till it's just like a normal astral beacon. Just like you can see his presence in the astral realm.
So imagine the Astral Beacon as well, just from being touched by her. Do you know what I mean? Because
That's
it's
what
the
most
touch
of
of a
it is, yeah.
god. Yeah. So it's going to be
That's
big and
what
bright anyway.
Yeah, it's the purple flakes was the curse, and like the golden light was the goddess, kind of thing.
Cool. And while Salazar, the suicidal Salazar, still have one more session to kill himself, so he can play Hypnos, right?
2, actually.
Well, no, so if he kills himself next session, he's free to play Hypnos fully. In the last session is what he was saying.
Okay.
So he's one session to kill himself so he can go full time for Hypnos in the last session.
I mean, he needs to stay alive so we can see what happens to all of his companions. Will he finally have a flock of worms?
Or will everybody die?
Mm-hmm.
What powers Hypnos have?
That would be telling.
I'd like them to be telling, to tell you.
No, I can't let you know that.
Yeah, it would be too much of a spoiler.
I mean, there's been hints of some of it already. Yeah, but I mean, like, demons can have a variety of different powers. We've already seen half demon powers and the after effects of other stuff.
And don't their powers also depend on what the other half is, somewhat?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'll only tell you that Hypnos isn't half human.
Interesting.
Well, I mean,
Is he
Hypnos
half
is also kind of like full demon now as well, so he's got a lot more powers. But yeah, so that was this week.
How many of us are going to live through it? Especially after that speech, like, we can always have hope. Hope will keep going on.
Yeah. Well, anyway, see you next week, guys.
Yep, catch
Yep,
you later.
see you all
See you later.
It's quite late, so I'll just head off to
See you next week.